The road to $10,000 runs through the Talladega Superspeedway. This is round at number 10 of the Nascar IRacing.com Series World Championship. We're at the halfway point. Tonight begins the second half of the season, and these drivers are getting ready to go at it for 9 more races. And they're going to try to pocket a little bit of cash in this second half of the season. Tim Terry, Joe Cortez, and Nim Cross down on pit road. And Joe, this is the wild card. We kick it off like we did the start of the season. Talladega Superspeedway is getting ready for 94 laps, and I'm sure we're going to see some excitement here throughout this race.
Tim, we are just officially over the halfway point of this season, and it couldn't come at a better place. Talladega is the great equalizer. It is a test of driver ability, it is a test of driver confidence, and it is a test of how long these drivers can endure going breakneck speeds with one another, trying to fight for that first place position out there. It's really going to be an excellent test and testimony to the quality of these drivers. And after tonight, I think we're going to have a little bit clearer picture of what we're going to be seeing in the championship picture. Now, here's what I'm watching for tonight. Last time we did a televised race, not necessarily in general, we saw a lot of the two-car tandems like you see in the Nationwide series. We might see a lot of those tonight, and if we do, what I'm going to be interested to see is how these cars are able to manage that and able to mitigate that in order to move forward. Of course, pit strategy will also be critical. That's where Nim Cross comes in.
That's right. There'll be a lot of action down on pit road, and they'll need to get on and off pit road very cleanly. With the packs running so close together, each of these drivers have chosen a teammate, and since they are going to be tandem racing and hooking up in pairs of 2, they're going to want to keep hold of that driver and their partner through the whole race. And during the pit stops, it's very easy to get separated, especially when the packs or cars are coming in and you're in and out with so many drivers. These guys are going to want to stay hooked up to their teammates, and they can lose a lot of time. As you'll see in the hot laps video, you can lose a lot of time just coming off a pit road on your out lap, so you need to hook up with your partner.
And Nim mentioned it. Let's go to hot laps now. Joe mentioned the two-car tandem. Brian Blackford and the crew going to take us through what we will expect over 94 laps at Talladega.
Hey guys, this is Steve Sheehan. We are at Talladega this week for 94 laps. These cars are very loose to drive. They are very difficult to drive with this new build. Tandems do work. Expect strategy to win out tonight. Now a hot lap here is pretty self-explanatory. You really want to stay all the way to the bottom, and you just want a low line around the track. I mean, you see these guys do it when they go to Talladega and Daytona every year in real life. It's the same deal here. For a hot lap when you're by yourself, you want to work your way, get the RPMs up all the way around the high side. Then for your money lap, you want to stay on the bottom. There's basically just smoothness and precision on the wheel in order to fine-tune, get those last few thousandths that you need in order to qualify up front. And then it's all about just making your way through traffic, how you handle yourself in tight packs, and how you can manage the tandems and time it right so you're the one in the lead at the end of the race. You can expect to see some green flag pit stops. You're going to see a couple different strategies. Some people may short pit very early in the race. It all depends on how they want to work their strategy and who they're working with. It's very, very important that when we make our pit stops, we're coming into and especially exiting the pits with draft. You can lose upwards of a few seconds right on your outlap coming out of pit road and green flag pit stops if you're alone versus in traffic. I myself was the third car, the odd man out at Daytona this past season, and the 2 cars that pit with me, in fact, went on to win and finish second in our season opener. I was that third man out. I got lost in the back of the pack because they were the ones working together. So expect an even number of cars always to come into the pits together so they can come out with a drafting partner. Guys are really starting to take whatever they can get on these restarts the past couple weeks, and it's caused some issues, and we've all been warned. Don't expect too much to go on at Talladega with the gears the way they are. It's not like we can get huge runs on each other. I expect some nice clean restarts, but expect a lot of moves to be made for that first lap when we're getting up to speed, because a lot of positions can be made up by getting together and pushing each other just for that opening lap after a restart. Now, as I stated opening this segment, these cars are fairly loose here. They are a handful to drive. We are going to have to stay on top of our cars and be on the wheel the entire time. There is no relax mode in this race. We are going to have to stay on it. We're going to have to keep ourselves positioned. If we're in the middle of a 3-wide or even 4-wide situation, you're going to see some very uncomfortable drivers if they don't have a solid, stable setup beneath them. Now, in a couple weeks, we are at Indianapolis. I know there's a lot of fans of that track. It's just one of those tracks where you just have to have a liking to it. So hopefully you guys enjoy the race tonight, and we will be at the Brickyard in a couple weeks.
So there's what we should expect tonight at the Talladega Super Speedway. Just a few moments away from going racing here, about 4.5 minutes away. And let's look at our standings coming into this evening's racing action. And without the drop, these drivers do have one drop race throughout this 18-race schedule. It is Tyler Hudson leading the standings by 9 points over, or check that, 11 points over Nick Ottinger, who has 4 wins this season. Ray Alfalla third, Brian Schoenberg and Marcus Lindsay, your top 5. With Michael Conti, Steve Sheehan, Brandon Gattel, Peter Bennett, and Carson McClellan completing your top 10. And Joe, we do not have the graphic with the drops, but we can tell you with the drop, you take the driver's worst race out of the equation, and it is Nick Ottinger leading Ray Alfalla by 2 points and Tyler Hudson by 6. That's how it tightens up with that one drop race. And we mentioned earlier in the season, Daytona, Talladega possibly being a drop race because it's such a wild card. Anything can happen, and this could very well be one. But if you're in the case of Ray Alfalla, you already had your drop race at Daytona, only got 2 points at Daytona, so you don't really want to have another bad race here. And actually, in the case of Ray Alfalla, he had some internet problems earlier, and he did not put in a qualifying time, qualified dead last. It appears Ray Alfalla has those internet issues fixed. But, Joe, Talladega's not a place you really want to start dead last unless you can really steer clear of all this traffic and all the carnage that could ensue.
No, absolutely. Talladega is not somewhere you want to start dead last on the field because of the big one. You know exactly what we're talking about. Every time we go super speedway racing, that's always the threat. You have that opportunity, that chance to get swept up. 2 drivers go at it, and it could end up half the field getting some reciprocation or some effect as a result of that situation. So not where you want to be, but also potentially where you want to be, because if you are able to get through, if you're able to sit back a little bit for the first half of the race and let all the big ones happen, you can climb through the field very, very quickly. Also, something that Ray Alfalla is thinking about right now, he qualified dead last out on this field. He's currently in 37th in warm-up. The guy who's leading these points with the drop, Nick Ottinger, he's currently running 5th in warm-up. So that's going to be something that's on his mind. How does he not only get in front of this race and control its pace, but how does he keep Nick Ottinger away from that first-place position that could challenge his three-peat?
On the other end, though, warm-up times and practice times at Talladega do not mean a whole lot, especially when Nick Ottinger was with a 2-car Tango and Ray Alfalla did a single-car run. And at that, I don't think he was even up to speed on that single-car run, 55.51 for the 2-car of Ray Alfalla on his only warm-up lap in this session. And the tandem that is currently on top of the practice is Chris Mayne and John Gorlinski. Chris Mayne, he told me not to say it's a comeback. in this series. He's been away for a couple of races. Now he's back, and John Gorlinski as well in the number 21 car. Former winner in this series, looking to make a splash here at the Talladega Super Speedway, and they will look to team up. And we've seen it here before as well, these qualifying times so close. Some of these tandems, Joe, might not be starting near each other. The advantage for Chris Mayne and John Gorlinski, they start 31st and 32nd.
Well, you don't necessarily get to choose your dance partners when you're at that position. You pick the best guy you can that'll get you moving, get you up front, and I do think we're going to see a lot of that to start off this race as things get settled down, as we have a couple of yellow flag cycles to go through. Watch for those dance partners to figure out a way to get together, and then you're going to see some good racing.
We are going to take a quick break. Grab your popcorn, grab your refreshment. It is going to be a wild race at Talladega. Don't go away. We'll be right back here on PSR TV, iRacing Live, and the Motor Racing Network. Welcome to Talladega, and welcome to round number 10 of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Field begins to roll. Let's introduce you to the 41-car starting grid, beginning with your Daytona winner on the pole. It's the 81 of Adam Gilliland, the Gary Mercer Trucking Chevy, and to the outside, the 05 of Nick Ottinger.
In row number 2, it's Michael Conti in the 5 machine, starting third, turning in a qualifying time of 49.112 seconds, only 1,000th of a second off your front row winners. On the outside of him, Chad Coleman, the 28, starts fourth.
Inside row number 3, your in-car camera today will be held by Byron Dell, in-car number 93. Outside him, number 82, Alex Warren.
New colors, it's not Sexy Blue 89 this evening, it's the Red Rocket, number 89, Landon Harrison. To the outside, returning to the Series 18, Matt Whitten.
In row number 5, the inside belongs to Marcus Lindsay in the number 1 machine. Outside of him, Joey Brown in the 12 machine, starts 10th.
On the inside, row number 6, Michael J. Johnson, car number 39. Outside him, car number 07, Derek Prone.
The Cyclone Popsicle, number 97 of Carson Downs, and Dylan Duvall in the 42.
Chad Lawton starts the inside, row number 8. Outside of him, Carson McClelland.
Going 17th will be Kevin King in car number 29. Outside him, car number 91, Josh Berry.
The 11 of Brad Davies and the 20 of Danny Hansen, 19th and 20th.
Row number 11, Brandon Bowie in the inside, Brandon Cattell on the outside.
Cody Biasco 23rd and Brian Schoenberg 24th.
Thomas Lewandowski rolls from 25th, and 26th is Brandon Schmidt.
Patrick Baldwin in the 27th spot. Outside of him, Brian Blackford in the 28th.
Jake Sturgis will go 29th. Outside of him, Richard Doucette will go 30th.
The draft mates, Chris Mayne, John Gorlinski, 31st and 32nd.
Rob Ackley starts on the inside of that row. He'll be 33rd. Outside of him, Casey Malone starts 34th.
35th will be Joshua Lofton. Matt Busso will go 36th.
Bennett, Kashiba, Fayash, Hudson, and Alfala complete your field. Hudson and Alfala, 2 drivers involved in this championship chase. Pace car is in, and Adam Gilliland and Nick Ottinger, your front row, leading this 41-car field. The green, waiting for the green to come out, and Gilliland is gone in the Gary Mercer Trucking Chevrolet. We are underway at Talladega for the first of 94 laps, and we'll see who works with who in these early laps. We see the 81 car of Gilliland. Got a couple of teammates back there in Coleman and Byron Daly and Landon Harrison. But with this qualifying grid, the way it's set up, Joe might just be able to find who you are near right now and try to work with them.
Adam Gilliland and Nick Ottinger get a breakaway. Meanwhile, it's 3 wide now, back around the 28 of Chad Coleman. He's running the inside line all by himself. Not a place to be. You need help at Talladega. You cannot run this by yourself. He's going to make a go of it anyways. Now the 89 jumps in front of him. He gives up 2 positions. Coleman gives up 2 positions. Is going to try to get one back. So he looks underneath that 89 machine of Landon Harrison.
Looking underneath the 89 is that 28 of Chad Coleman. Those two are teammates. Is just in front of them their other teammate of Byron Daly, trying to find a place to run in the 93. He's got the 18 of Matt Witten to the outside as they go at it up in front of the field for the lead, and Byron Daly and the Bandit Chippers, number 93, will lead lap number 1. Adam Gilliland in the 81. They are teammates as well, Joe. They're looking for each other. Looks like they found each other on the inside.
So the Bandit Chipper is going to steal the first place position. Adam Gilliland now right on his bumper, and they're going to start making a move. Adam Gilliland now moves back up to second. It looks like Matt Witten hung out to dry right now. No one wants to go high with him. Opening the door for Nick Ottinger, Marcus Lindsay. Now the 81 is going to work with the 18 on the outside, but it's too little, too late. Both those cars start dropping.
Keep in mind, the 81 of Gilliland and the 1 of Lindsay make contact. Marcus Lindsay in the 1. Down on the infield, and a great save by the number 1 car of Marcus Lindsay.
And Marcus Lindsay not happy about what happened out there. He's having some words with Adam Gilliland on the radios. Nothing of any importance, but then we continue racing. Great save by him, and all eyes still up front as Ottinger pushes Byron Daly first and second. A whole mess of cars behind him looking for position.
I was about to say, keep in mind, Adam Gilliland won Daytona, so he might be somebody you want to work with, but we see that move there, and it might question some of those drivers whether I want to work with the 81 or not, but nevertheless, Adam Gilliland now finds Matt Witten in the number 18, and they'll try to come to the front of the field, and I know we have the 81 and 18 team as our in-race reporter, and I should say team. It's a tandem this evening, Joe. They are on different race teams when it comes to working with different drivers throughout the week to really set up your race cars. They're on different teams per se, but they're working here together because they want to go to the front and win this thing tonight.
They definitely want to do something out there tonight as they continue to move out there. The 18 and 81 pushing each other side by side, and they look like a rocket sled on rails out there. The 2-car tandem works, and the 81 rockets up to the front. He will take away the lead. The 18 comes down with him. So Witten, Gilliland working together. They take first and second. Little shake and bake out there. I like it.
So Gilliland will come to the line here, and he will lead, but look who's coming to the front. It looks like the 26, Chad Lawton, is leading that outside line there, and a couple of drivers following him. His teammate, the 29 of Kevin King. Dylan Duvall has Josh Berry in tow, and the 16 of Tom Lewandowski also on the outside line as those drivers try to move closer to the front of the field. We work lap number 5 of 94. Down the back straightaway continues to be Adam Gilliland, leading with Matt Witten, and then it's a little bit of a gap back as these guys get a little bit closer to side by side. Here comes Chad Lawton with the push from Kevin King.
The number 42 of Dylan Duvall looks like got the push up the hill from Josh Berry. Realized Berry wasn't going with him. Ducked right back in line immediately. As I said before, you cannot be without help out here. You need to make some friends if you're going to run this long Talladega track. And these guys are doing everything they can to make friends right now. Josh Berry ducking back on the inside line. Probably saw something on the high side he didn't like. But guess what? Like it or not, that high side is moving, led by Chad Lawton, and now they're picking up on Chad Coleman, looking to pass him any second now.
They made the switch up front, and Matt Witten will go to the lead on Adam Gilliland. Third and fourth now belong to Byron Daly and Nick Ottinger, and here they come to the outside. No, they're going to make the switch going down into corner number 3. Ottinger's going to have the momentum, but it's going to be killed with out Byron Daly behind him. I'll bring in Nim Cross here. We talk about these tandems. If you're new to this sort of racing, these drivers do have to switch every 3, 4, 5 laps or so to keep these engines cool, don't they?
Yeah, if you're tucked in behind too long, you're definitely going to raise the water temperature in the car, and you'll overheat. But there's a number of drivers out there right now that are still looking for their partners, and they're trying to slow up. And as we've seen already, a couple of drivers are having some issues with getting bumped in the rear bumper. It's turning them sideways here a little bit, and I think we heard that on the Hot Laps preview that the cars are a little bit loose in their setups today, and that they're having problems with the cars being loose, especially with the car behind. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that.
The 89 of Landon Harrison falls below the yellow line and will try to fall back here and find someone to work with back here in the number 89. Ray Alfala in the number 2 is starting to come back to the front of the field after starting dead last in this field. He is drafting with Michael J. Johnson in the number 39 car, and they are looking at a top 10 spot here as the 39 and 2 go to the outside line of Chad Coleman, Chad Lawton, check that, in the number 29 of Kevin King. Switch for the lead again. Adam Gilliland goes back to the top spot.
It was a little scary out there for a moment while Nib was talking there, Kim. They were going 4 wide through the turn out there, proving that they not only they can do it, but it's feasible. Whether they should or not, it's yet to be argued with, but we'll have to keep an eye on them to see how exactly they manage it as we move on. Meanwhile, Ray Alfala in new colors tonight, or that orange TwisterGeeks.net Ford Fusion, he's got a tear. He is a man on a mission, and even though he started 41st on this field, nothing is going to stop him from trying to get up front. This time by at the stripe, Alfala will move up to 7th place, and he ain't done climbing the mountain yet.
I'll correct you. It's not new colors. It's a flashback paint scheme for the number 2 of Ray Alfala. He won the championship a couple of years ago with those colors on that race car. Your lead about to get exciting. Here comes Byron Daly to the outside along with Nick Ottinger, and it looks like those two have found the magical connection, the Ford Fusion and the Chevrolet SS on the outside, looking to take the lead away from Adam Gilliland and Matt Witten. Coming out of corner number 4 this time, the 81 and the 18 go to the inside, and the second tandem will switch, and the 81 car of Adam Gilliland will appear to lead this one, and looks like that switch may have gone a little bit awry there as a 93 and 05 get it back single file, but they really didn't make a switch as they switch up front for the lead, and it'll be the 18 going ahead of the 81 here.
So now you have 2 tandems of 2 in a foursome, all trying to get out front and start the play. That's low line led by Ray Alfala, the high side of that group, led by Dylan Duvall, and it's almost looking like a golf game out there, Tim. You got 2 groups of 4, all battling for position out there. And actually, this is probably the way it should be right now. Everybody's being patient. Everybody's giving room and taking their time. You don't win a race on lap number 10. You win it on 94. And these guys are very cognizant of that fact as you see them continue to run. 3 wide now towards the middle of the field.
And you see the 69 and the 80 there. That is Peter Bennett and Brandon Cattell. Cattell, if you can remember back to Daytona, ran so strong in that 80 and really started to kick off his season. He's been running strong all year long. Top 10 in the point standings for the 80 of Brandon Cattell is just behind him now. It's the 33 of Brian Blackford in the middle as they try to push forward towards the front of the field. The 27 of Cody Bias is there. Derek Crone also pushing in the middle of this field, and the middle groove right now is Brian Schoenberg's also involved in the middle groove as Brandon Schmidt is going to be dispatched towards the back of the field. He and his last row teammate, the number 12 of Joey Brown, trying to maybe get back here and watch a little bit of this action back here and watch maybe something unfold.
Bunching up at the lead once again is 81-18. Look like they're going to make the tandem switch. Nope. The 05. Oh, yes, they are. The 05-93 making the same exact tandem switch. And now things get interesting. The tandems might get shaken up. The switch between 93 and 05 almost botched there as Gilliland and Witten show a textbook performance on how to make that work. Behind them, though, they got more hunters. Josh Berry, Dylan Duvall on the low side, Michael J. Johnson, Ray Alfala on the high side. And what was a 2 tandems has now turned into 8 cars, all with a chance to lead this race early.
And behind them, the bomb is ticking. It's just a matter of whether it goes off or not. 3 wide, stacked about 4 or 5 deep here as they continue to go 3 abreast. The 55 of Brian Schoenberg in the middle of this one, and he is pushing Paul Kashiba in the middle lane. Chad Lawton's way up high in the number 26, being pushed by Cody Bias. And the 07 of Derek Crone as they go to the inside line now about mid-pack. It's exciting. Down the back straightaway they go as it looks like Peter Bennett and Brandon Cattell have had enough. They're going to try to push themselves away from this pack a little closer to up front.
John Gorlinski debated making it 4 wide behind Brian Schoenberg out there. Didn't decide to do it. Decided it might be better just to let it go. They went 3 wide all the way down the backstretch now through the turns 3 and 4. And now they're going to back off a little bit. It looks like they're trying to play strategy as best they can without taxing these engines way too much. Field, for the most part, unchanged out there. Everything's still battling the way it is, except for the 2 guys up front. I don't know what they figured out, Tim, but they figured out something, and they've got a nice little lead on the rest of this field, including the party of 6 behind them.
Oh, Brad Davies nearly got into the number 69, and we nearly saw our first caution of the evening when the 69 and 80 car swapped back here for about 8th or 9th place. The 11 of Brad Davies pushed up the racetrack and nearly got in to the 69 car. Davies, with help from Chad Coleman, in the number 28, and they are breaking away from the pack behind them, who are 3 wide for position, and it looks like Brian Blackford, without any help, is trying to break away in the Snow Cone Productions Ford Fusion. He comes across the stripe this time, 14 complete. Matt Whitten on top of the board, but here comes Ray Alfalla to the outside. Alfalla looking to take the lead here with help from Michael J. Johnson.
From worst to first, the doghouse to the penthouse. It could happen for Ray Alfalla here. He's got the advantage with the 39 machine of Michael J. Johnson. Alfalla all over the track finally goes low. We have a new leader.
And will a 3-car work, or at least work to the start-finish line so Alfalla can take the point? Look at Matt Whitten helping the 2-car a little bit of Ray Alfalla as these tandems get at it at the stripe this time. Alfalla will pick up 1 championship bonus point for leading that lap, and that could be a very critical bonus point when it comes down to championship time at Homestead. Your top 8 drivers are single file right now in their tandems, and then it's about 3 seconds back to the switching Peter Bennett and Brandon Cattell, now Cattell at 9th.
And each of these guys, again, being very patient out there, showing a lot of determination to make it work very well for them. And that being said, how much longer before we see a hasty move, an impatient move? You see Peter Bennett pushing Brandon Cattell right now, and those guys, you couldn't put a sheet of paper between them. That's how close those 2 drivers are to one another. Cattell, Bennett working hard, Brad Davies behind them, and that's where you start to see the lines scatter here, Tim. And this might be a question for Nim Cross. These guys seem to be scattering a little bit. Are they preserving their engines? Are they preserving their tires? What is it that they're trying to achieve out there by scattering these lines just a little bit?
Well, they're definitely trying to get some air to the noses of those cars. I was listening to some radio reports, and there are definitely some guys who have decided that they're back off a little bit. Things are getting a little crazy out there, so they're backing off a little bit and trying to give each other some room and not push each other so hard. So you see a lot of that going on right now, and a lot of space being given by some of these drivers.
Up in front, it continues to be the 18, and now the 81 car of Adam Gilliland is hooked up with Matt Whitten. Ray Alfalla has fallen back to Michael J. Johnson as the 42 of Dylan Duvall put 2 tires down on the apron as he and his teammate Josh Berry work together as they switch again for the lead position, and it looks like Adam Gilliland will go back to the point here. Lap number 18 being worked on the board. Your top 8 have broken away by 4.5 seconds.
And now you see that top 8 really working hard to preserve what they have up there and to keep themselves in the conversation for this race, which is actually good news for this top 8 group. The further ahead they are, the more distance they get from the rest of the field, the less likelihood they have of that big one affecting these guys. So the more they continue to get out there, the more they continue to fight with each other, just among themselves, the better chances they have of finishing this race not only in one piece, but with a relatively unscathed car.
You definitely need to get to the end of the race in order to have a chance at winning it. And Nim, we've seen this before, and I want to bring you in because we go back to Daytona last year. We've seen a lot of these races go a lot of green flag laps at the start, and then we see a caution flag. We can go, I think, Daytona last year was 72 laps before a caution. Saw a lot of laps at Daytona this year without a caution as well. So we could see this with the trends that we've seen, Nim. A lot of green flag laps to really kick off these races.
Oh, no doubt about it. And with Talladega here, Talladega is quite a bit wider than Daytona is, and you do have a lot more room here. So theoretically, you should be able to go, a lot safer here at this track. But one thing we've seen from these drivers is 3 and 4 wide, which you definitely wouldn't see at Daytona so much. So you have a lot more track, but sometimes they use a lot more track. And right now, everybody's showing a lot of give and take out there. We see a lot of drivers swapping right now as they're trying to get some cool air to those engines.
As you see them swapping around out there, making it try to work for each other and preserving what they've got, everything remains pretty much unchanged out here. Adam Gill and Matt Whitten still in control of this field. Alfala, Duvall, Josh Berry, Michael J. Johnson, all trying to get up there and challenge for that lead. But I think they're being patient about it. They're doing the right thing by keeping it slow and keeping the pace of this race the way it's going. This is going to make for some very entertaining racing when you have so many great cars in position to really challenge each other and put on a clinic of what this track can do under the best of circumstances. Brandon Schmidt now getting a big push from Joey Brown. Those two guys are bumper to bumper with each other, now making the tandem switch. I think they're trying to get up with the lead pack.
Yeah, they're trying to push their way up there, but they got a long way to go. Tyler Hudson in the 01 car, that's big. 1 lap down in the 01 car early in this race, lap number 21, and it might not be too bad right now for a few laps until somebody else falls 1 lap down. And Joe, you look at it, we talk about 2-car tandems, you really need a partner here. There's 41 drivers in this racetrack. The last time I checked, 41 wasn't an even number.
41 is not an even number. We have a couple drivers missing from tonight's group, but that's irrelevant. The point you're trying to make there is 41 is not an even number, which means there's going to be somebody left out. And that's somebody right now who's left out on this field is the 01 of Tyler Hudson, who's trying to find someone to work with out there, but is just not having any luck whatsoever. It might be a bad setup issue. He might be having some engine problems out there. It's hard to say, but this is not boding well for Tyler Hudson, who came into this as the points leader before the drop.
Battle for the lead. Josh Berry took the lead on that lap, but he might not be able to hold it to the stripe because here comes Ray Alfala with help from the 39 and Michael J. Johnson, and he pokes his nose to the outside. Ray will lead the lap, and Josh Berry in the Speedco 91 will not get that bonus point for leading a lap here this evening yet. Ray Alfala in the 2 continues to lead now with that 39 in tow. 91 and 42 to the inside, and look who comes in position number 5 right now. It's Byron Daly in the number 93 car with Ottinger in the 05 as they'll come up in some more lap traffic here. Is this Brian Schoenberg possibly going 1 lap down? Schoenberg, Hansen, and Downs. Jay Show about to go 1 lap down. Nim, did they come onto pit road?
Yeah, there were about 4 drivers. I was just checking out Paul Kashiba and a couple of drivers did make a pit stop there. They pitted on lap number 21. Definitely a preconceived strategy before the race by these 4 drivers. Let me see who it was here. It was the 32 of Paul Kashiba. I have to get a check on those, see what driver they were, but they definitely planned it before the race.
This might not be bad, Joe, because these drivers counting back, I believe they can go 35 to 40, if not a little touch less. So maybe these guys are counting backwards on their pit strategy, almost like we see at a road course where you plan the race backwards as opposed to planning it forward when you come to pit strategy. Those guys might be doing that right now and trying something a little bit different. Is up in front. It's the number 42, a Dylan Duvall from Halifax, Nova Scotia, getting the push from Josh Berry as we have the 81 and 18 coming down into pit road here. The Gary Mercer Trucking Chevy coming down towards Nimcross.
Yeah, these guys will try to stay hooked together while they're on pit road as they come down here. You definitely want to keep your partner as you come on and off pit road, and that's definitely what they're doing, Tim. They have counted backwards through this race, and they know that they can make it on one more stop from here to the end of the race.
So Gilliland and Matt Whitten will be the first one to throw the hand out and come down pit road. Now the gauntlet has been dropped for the rest of the leaders. None of them showing any indication that they're going to come down yet. Byron Daly might be doing it right now, talking about his pit strategy aloud, trying to figure out when he's going to come down and when the 05 is going to follow him down there. So now pit strategy comes into play. Now, like you said, Tim, it's time to plan backwards a little bit and see where you need to be when the race ends. Because at the end of this race, you can run without tires, but you certainly don't want to be out here without fuel.
You should be able to run the whole race without tires with this Talladega Super Speedway not being abrasive on these tires with this service. If you're down and you're taking a full tank of fuel, you might as well, you could take 2 tires realistically and not lose a whole lot of time, but we'll likely see a lot of these drivers not take tires on this race, possibly, especially if it goes green. If you're under caution, you might see somebody do something like that, but nevertheless, the 5 and the 157 are next up on the list of the leaders. If they continue to stay out here, that's Andrew Payash III and Michael Conti, and then just in front of them, Danny Hansen and Carson Downs. And Carson Downs is running the special paint scheme this evening. It's the Cyclone Popsicle, number 97 Ford Fusion, as he leads the little pack of 4 here that the leaders are about to come up on.
He does lead that group right now in that popsicle machine. A very nicely painted one, if I say so myself. Carson Downs continues to run out there, but he may not be able to outrun Josh Berry for much longer. Now he's going to go up high, do this tandem switch with Dylan Duvall. Dylan Duvall goes underneath. They make the switch textbook style, and they are back down and away to continue chasing after those cars to try to make them go one lap down.
So Dylan Duvall back up to the top of the scoring pylon with Josh Berry pushing. Behind them, it looks like they made the switch with the 05 and 93 as they are just behind the 39 and 2 as Michael J. Johnson and Ray Alfala try to get a little bit closer to the front of this field. Your top 6 was a top 8 pack when we saw the 18 and 81 come down onto pit road, and then it looks like Peter Bennett, Brandon Cattell have still stayed on the racetrack as well, and they are being chased down by Tom Lewandowski and Brad Davies in 9th and 10th, respectively.
Yes, they are. But the question right now is, it's only lap 28. We're not even a third of the way done with the race yet. At this point, does position matter as much? Because I've seen several times, Tim, I've seen plenty of times where somebody makes the right pit stop, somebody makes the right approach move, and the next thing you know, they're in victory lane. I don't think that the track position is as important. I'm not saying give away the farm, but I'm saying, don't count out the guy who's a lap down right this moment.
This battle for 6th and 7th, or check that 7th and 8th, really intriguing right now as they make the switch with the 80 and 69 cars, and it closes in almost, or at least what's left of this pack back here. You've got Brian Blackford and Chad Coleman, you've got Tom Lewandowski and Brad Davies, and you have Cody Bias and Derek Cronin, an 8-car pack back here, battling for position number 8. As they come up at a corner number 4, it looks like the Drill Aisle teammates of Tom Lewandowski and the 11 of Brad Davies make a little bit of a swap, and Davies will go to the front of leading this 8-car pack for position number 7 right now, as it looks like Davies will take the spot at the line.
Meanwhile, my eye is on the number 18 and the 81, Whitney Gilden, starting to climb through the ranks. Last lap, they were all the way down in the 30s. Now they're 30th and 31st, respectively. With that odd pit stop, they've got a room to be aggressive out here and burn off a little rubber to try to catch up with the guys up front. And I don't think that's going to be a problem for them if they can continue to pick up 2 positions every circuit.
But some of that easier said than done as you race with these drivers at the Talladega Super Speedway. This time by, your leader continues to be the number 91 car of Josh Berry, but they are up on lap traffic. They make the switch with Duvall going to the lead on the 91, but look at who they have in front of them. They got 6 cars. We mentioned Conti, Fayash, Downs, and Hansen, and now they are joined by Brown and Schmidt, the 2 Last Row Motorsports teammates, as it's a 8-car train up in front, with 2 of those being your lead cars.
And this is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets a little hairy if you're those front drivers out there. If you're Berry, Duvall, Alfala, this is where it can get very dangerous for you. If you decide to get around those guys, if you decide to make a move and they try to block you and they try to stop you from moving forward, that can easily cause the big one. And what turned into a race among 8 drivers, a gentleman's race among friends, could turn into tragedy in a heartbeat, in the blink of an eye.
Duvall and Berry go to the high side of these lap down cars to try to put them 1 lap down, and that could be big, especially with the way we're going. We're not seeing a whole lot of caution periods here this evening, If you go a lap down here early, that could spell trouble for your chances later on in the evening. Currently, Casey Malone, Brian Schoenberg, Paul Kashiba, Tyler Hudson all scored as one lap down. As leaders are 3-1 in the middle as Joey Brown and Brandon Schmidt make a switch. And just as simple as that, the 91 and 42 put those 6 cars one lap down. Keep in mind, though, Joe, the 2 leaders, your 91 and 42, they both have to come down onto pit road. They have yet to pit, and they should have to pit here probably within the next 5 laps or so.
Which makes their strategy point very, very interesting. They do have a big lead on Witten and Gilliland, but the question I have is, can they get in, get out, and get up to speed before Gilliland and Witten can get up to start challenging them? And even then, will they have enough to hold them off right that moment? It's going to be very entertaining watching their pit stops work out there. Someone else entertaining to watch right now? Nick Ottinger just turned the best lap of the evening, 46.581 seconds. He's now up in 4th in front of Ray Alfala. And if you don't think those 2 boys are charging, if you don't think that group is charging at all, you might want to get your eyes checked.
And actually, they have different dancing partners back here, Joe. Nick Ottinger has picked up Michael J. Johnson, and Byron Daly has picked up Ray Alfala, and they run about a half second in between each other. Barry around in the 91, your leader has wrecked, and we're going to take a bunch of cars with us. Caution flag is out, and Ray Alfala and the 2 and the rest of these drivers get by, but it's a 3-car wreck, and Barry on the inside, his chances of winning this race have gone up in smoke.
This is what I was talking about 2 seconds ago there, Tim. This is a tragedy, that heartbreak I was talking about in the blink of an eye. Josh Berry had everything. He was sitting on top of the world, but it looks like he just got out of the air. He just got the air loose off his nose, and the 91 goes up into the 12, and that's going to collect a bunch of cars behind them.
Nim, I know you saw that too. Looking at the replay, looks like a little bit of a bumper hook situation there between the 91 and 42. We talked about some of these bumpers not lining up, and you have to be square to hit the driver in front of you. It looks to me like the 91 and 42 make a little contact, and they're not completely square when they do so.
Yeah, it looks like they were coming off of corner number 2 there, and the 91 car right in back of the 42, Josh Berry was kind of squirming around just a little bit, and their bumpers rubbed just the wrong way, and that turned the Barry car, the number 91 car, to the right, and it impacted the wall on the back straightaway with the right side of the car. He then spun down, and the 12 car and his drafting partner had nowhere to go. Both those cars severely damaged with a heavy impact going down the back straightaway.
And all this pitting early business, it's gone out the window now, because you're going to have guys come onto pit road here, and more than likely those other guys that did pit early are likely going to come with them. We'll see what they do at the back of the field. I'm sure you'll see somebody possibly stay out and try to take the wave around here and possibly gamble on a very quick caution flag to come out here, as here comes your leaders, led by Dylan Duval in the 42, and Nim, he doesn't have a drafting partner to work with. This could be very interesting when he gets off of pit road. He's down in his box.
Yeah, he's going to have to find a friend soon and try to make some kind of deal. And their crew chiefs, a lot of these guys have crew chiefs. They'll be working together with the other crew chiefs, trying to hook up with somebody, and maybe somebody else will lose their dancing partner through this next stint. But we'll have to see how that works out here on lap number 35. Still about 60 laps to go from here.
2 tires for the 42 machine. He'll be the first one off pit road. The guy that surprised me, though, was the number 28 of Richard Doucette out there, or I'm sorry, Chad Coleman. He came down pit road real quick too, and he got a good pit stop in as well. 2 to 4 tires for him, and he'll be down and away. A lot of great pit stops out there. A lot of very interesting stops. 2 tires, 4 tires. We talked about it earlier. Tires are not a major play out here, but they are something to be taken into consideration, especially when you start digging late in the race.
We're going to step away for just a few moments. As we mentioned before the show, if you don't have your popcorn, go back, refreshen it a little bit, get another drink. This is going to be exciting. Lap 36 being worked on the board. Gilliland and Witten stayed out on the racetrack. We'll be right back here on PSR TV, the Motor Racing Network, and iRacing Live.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engine!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 in the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR iRacing. Welcome back to the Talladega Super Speedway. Your leaders are the 81 of Adam Gilliland and the 18 of Matt Whitten. They did not come down pit road under that most recent caution. We should have the one to go here. Should have some wave around drivers. Indeed we do. It begins with Danny Hansen, Andrew Fash III, Michael Conti, Brian Schoenberg, and Paul Kashiba. Your 5 that do pass the pace car. And let's talk about Andrew Fash III a little bit in the 157. We mentioned 2 weeks ago that there was an all-star race coming up, a part of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship and the iRacing World Grand Prix Championship Series, and that will happen on August 3rd. The all-star voting has happened. It has been completed, and Andrew Fash III has been voted on by the iRacing members as the recipient of the fan vote for the oval portion, or the oval side, I guess, of the All-Star race. Ben Cornett will be racing from the roadside when it comes to the fan vote. They'll all be racing on Saturday, August 3rd in the afternoon, and that event can be seen here live on PSR TV. There's a oval portion and a road aspect as well. Should be interesting to see some of the road guys run in this race car. We're assuming it'll be this race car here, the Gen 6 Cup car. Be interesting to see some of the oval guys race on the Grand Prix side of things as well, doing the right and left-hand turn, Joe. Going to be exciting.
I think it's going to be very, very exciting. You're going to have a lot of very good drivers, the top 20 on both sides, representing their respective cars in each race. And if I'm being honest with you, I don't think I can find a more deserving recipient of the All-Star Award than Andrew Fash III. He's had to overcome a lot of personal challenges this year. He's had to overcome a lot of different things in order to get back in the car and honor his family the way he's doing. I think Andrew Fash, just for his courage alone, very, very well deserves this award, and it'll be a lot of fun to watch him race with some of the best drivers in this sim on August 3rd.
Pace car is in, and Adam Gilliland and Matt Whitten will get ready to put the hammer down here. Green flag flies. We're back underway as we complete lap number 38 of 94. Gilliland and Whitten will get teamed up. Now the question is, where does Dylan Duval go in the number 42, and where does he find a drafting partner? He lost his in Josh Berry. The 2 car of Ray Alfala says nuh-uh. Alfala goes to the outside in the Twister Geeks Ford, and he'll look to dispatch the 42 car back a little bit. Now where does Byron Daly go? He was working on that last run with Ray Alfala. Does he go with the 42, or does he go back with the 2 car of Alfala?
So far, Dylan Duvall, the lone man out there. He's the Lone Ranger as Alfala dispatches him, gets in front. Now, look, we got another tandem coming up. The 27 of Cody Bias, the 07 of Derek Crone on the outside. And what was a two-car tandem may have to be a threesome, as the 42 and 93 all get in line for self-preservation against that hot and heavy duo coming up front there. Also of note in the mix, the 39 of Michael J. Johnson and the 05 of Nick Ottinger continue to work with each other. They haven't made a move yet, but I think you should give it some time. They might make the move to surprise all of us yet.
And you look at the rest of this field here on lap number 40 of 94, there's still 55, or I guess 54 and a half laps to go. So there's a lot of room and a lot of time to move as the 80 and 69 cars go in the middle here at about 10th place or so, as Tom Lewandowski and Brad Davies have teamed up, as has that 05 you mentioned, Nick Ottinger, and just in front of him, the 39 of Michael J. Johnson. And I think that's one tandem we're going to have to watch before the end of the evening, Joe. The 80 and the 69 car, they've been working just inside the top 10 as they cut down in front of the 39 of Michael J. Johnson. I think there'll be ones to watch here as we go through the field. And speaking about ones to watch, it's a three-car tandem up in front, or three-car tango, I guess we can say, as they go to the outside with Alfala, Duvall, and Byron Daly.
I've just been really entertained by watching the 42 and 93 work so well together. The 2 and 93 have been working together all night. The 42 is going to drop out of their way. Here comes the 81. And I think it's too early to say, but the two-car tandem so far might be in trouble now as we start to see all kinds of different combinations and drivers get together. Ray Alfala back up front. He wants to take away the lead. The number 93 of Byron Daly wants to jump along with him. We're going to have a completely new dynamic as they cross the start-finish line to start lap 42.
So Ray Alfala to the lead position in the number 2, being pushed by Byron Daly, and now the 07 of Derek Crone and the 27 of Cody Bias. Really the first time we talked about them all night. They're going to go to the outside as the 07 of Derek Crone will try to take the lead as they switch underneath, and Byron Daly and Ray Alfala will lose the lead here to Derek Crone and Cody Bias in the number 27. Now it's just a matter if they can hold it and get that extra bonus point for leading the lap. And the one thing I'm seeing here, Joe, is Dylan Duvall did not have a drafting partner after he lost Josh Berry, and it looks like he's going to lose the top 10 because he's going to fall back to 11th place without a partner.
And that's what happens here at Talladega. If you lose a partner, if you lose a drafting buddy, you're not going to be able to keep up front and keep moving, and that's going to hurt later on in this race. We are now officially half over, working lap 43 on the books, and guess who's coming back to play? Witten and Adam Gilliland once again hooked up, and now they're challenging the other duo beside them, the 2 and the 93 for position. All four now catching up to your leaders. We got a race.
Battle for the lead up in front is the 18 of Matt Witten, trying to go back with Cody Bias and the number 27, leading the train around Talladega. The 93 of Byron Daly and the 2 of Ray Alfala tucked up tight on that inside line. Matt Witten's got a head of steam from the number 81. Can he get to the line first and lead lap number 43? Bias to the inside. Going to be a drag race to the line, and it looks like the 27 car will take the advantage at the stripe by 14 thousandths of a second. 3 wide behind them, 18 way up the racetrack, 81 to the inside as they switch, and look at that tandem I talked about, the 80 and the 69 coming to the front.
3 wide now in that big mix in the middle. The 2, the 93, the 80, the 69, and the 81 and 18 want absolutely nothing to do with it. They back off. They get away. We're not going to show up for this one and cause the big one. So they're going to back off and let the 80 and 69 have position. It just because we're halfway doesn't mean we have to race crazy. However, the 80 and the 69, they're racing like they're on a mission. And I think their mission is to stay up front as long as they can.
And possibly at the end of the night pick up their first NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship victory, as we're seeing some teammates, or seeing some tandems, I guess we can say, that we haven't seen here yet in the evening, starting to come to the front of the field. How about Jake Sturgis in the number 41 car? Caution flag is out on the speedway as the 33 of Brian Blackford involved.
33 of Brian Blackford got spinning right when he crossed the start-finish line. Might have gotten a little extra love from the 28 machine, and that's what caused him to spin almost into traffic. He saves it, but his tires and brakes are going to be in sorry shape after that second yellow flag of the evening, but nothing that Brian Blackford can't overcome.
And Blackford in the number 33 barely got up on the racetrack, and that was just enough for the sim to trigger the caution flag. And new colors on that Ford Fusion this week. Used to seeing Brian in the Triad Lawn Care Green, number 33, and it's the Snow Cone Productions, number 33, the purple and black scheme, and actually Chad Coleman running Mojica Lawn Care for Pedro Mojica this week in the number 28. So Coleman, and it looks like the 33 of Blackford. He didn't hit anything, as you mentioned, Joe, but he's definitely going to have to come down, likely take some tires, and get back on the horse, as he will likely have to restart deep in this field. Should be Tyler Hudson getting the free pass in this caution flag, as when the caution flag flew, it was Brandon Cattell leading Derek Crone in the 07 with Peter Bennett, Cody Bias, Ray Alfali, your top five.
So you got a lot of different drivers of varying skill, all now represented in the top 10. You have previous champions. You have potential future champions, all within a stone's throw of each other. But I also have a feeling that's all about to be mixed up, because pit road will be open momentarily. And when that pit road opens, it wouldn't surprise me to see everybody come in and take a little extra something. Brandon Cattell's got the nose point this way. He will lead your leaders over to Nim Cross.
Yeah, it looks like the whole pack is headed down pit road. I thought some of them might stay out since they're gonna need one more stop to the end, but you definitely don't want to get caught out with later cautions in the race, and maybe they're thinking of that. But everybody headed down pit road here on lap number 46. That will take them probably about 40 laps. So just under, about 10 laps or so under what they need to finish this race.
Two-car of Ray Alfala was a splash and go at the end of pit road, and he will come off, I believe, fourth off pit road to Derek Crone, the 69 of Peter Bennett, and your leader, Brandon Cattell, in the number 80 car, as the 80 of Brandon Cattell will lead the field off pit road. The only driver that stays out in the racetrack should be your free pass recipient in the AdaSignWraps.com 01 Ford Fusion of Tyler Hudson, as I know we do have one of our in-race reporters here this evening. Let's see if we can't possibly get a hold of the 81 driver as he gets ready to come back to the racetrack, Adam Gilliland. We'll see if we can get Adam down here and talk to your Daytona winner from back in February, or I should say back in March. It's been a little while since we raced a plate track. Adam Gilliland, it's Tim Terry in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I got you.
You and Matt Witten look fairly dominant here this evening. What's it going to take now to get from the back, or from the 10th place position, I guess, middle of this pack, back to the front?
It's just going to take some good communication getting through here. A lot of these guys are really good speed. We've just been able to hold our own, but I think we should be fairly good if we can get hooked up. I think he's about 4 or 5 cars behind me. I might jump back and get him, but mid-pack right here is pretty dangerous, so we're just going to be smart and have good communication.
You mentioned good communication. It seems like you guys have been one of the tandems to beat here this evening. What's the key to a magic combination like that to put you guys out in front more than maybe another tandem?
Well, it's just good chemistry. Me and Matt, we've known each other for a long time, and we really worked really good together on restrictor plates. And we had a really good run at Daytona before he got involved in a wreck. But we've got really good chemistry, and we know what each other is looking for when we're trying to maneuver through cars. So that helps. So. But I don't really know what separates from another tandem. We're just two guys just coming out here to race.
Your team has gone through a bunch of changes in the last few weeks. Talk about the new teammates, the new team members, and how much they've helped towards the setup here at Talladega.
Yeah, they've been a big help, especially here. Sit on the pole. That's all set up. Not the driver had nothing to do with that one. That's all set up. I got to thank Brody, Kostecki, Byron Daly, Hawk, Ted Coleman, Landon Harrison, all the guys that probably missing all the guys that worked on the setup this week. We put a lot of effort into it, and the race set's really good as well. So we'll just see if we can be smart coming up through here and maybe have a shot for it.
The win to kick off the season was big, but when we look at the points without the drops, you sit 15th in the standings. I know you're trying to look at the top 20. How big would it be this evening to grab a win and get yourself a little bit closer, a little more insurance when we look at that top 20 bubble?
It definitely helped get max points. I think I've led a good chunk of laps here so far, but it definitely helped. I'm setting my sights on a top 20 finish, but if a top 10 is possible, I'm going to go for that. Got some really good setups behind me, and I'm really looking forward to getting to Indy in 2 weeks and showing them what we got.
You mentioned Indy. I know you've looked at some of the racetracks down the second half of the schedule. Anywhere else that sticks out as a track that we might see the 81 in Victory Lane?
Well, I'm also really good at Atlanta. That's one of my better tracks, and that'll be in a new build, as will New Hampshire after Indy. So I'm really just focused right now on Indy in this current build because the build's most likely going to change, and we're going to have to restart, scratch the surface, and see if we can't come up with a good setup for New Hampshire.
You mentioned the teammates. You got some sponsors on this race car. Who makes it happen for you?
Yeah, it's been a while since I got to thank him, but I got to thank Brennan Mercer for sponsoring me this season with Gary Mercer Trucking Inc. Also got to thank Tim's Corner Motorsports. Thanks, Tim, for sponsoring me, and also J.D. Laird for for painting my cars.
And that's Adam Gilliland. Adam, we wish you all the best, and we'll watch you try to bring this thing back to the front of the field.
Thanks, guys. Have a good broadcast.
And that's Adam Gilliland, our in-race reporter. And Joe, he might be one we talk to at the end of the race because it seems like that car is quick, especially with Matt Whitten pushing it and vice versa. They're going to be a tandem that's going to be tough to beat, I think, here before the end of the race, unless something happens that one of those guys gets caught up. And I reckon we've seen it. Adam Gilliland mentioned it. Matt Whitten got caught up in a late race wreck at Daytona after those two ran so good for the first 90% of the race.
But also look at where they're restarting. Adam Gilliland will restart in 10th place, and his partner, Matt Whitten, will restart 15th. So before Adam Gilliland can really go anywhere and really challenge this field, he's got to hook back up with him. So one of them either has to charge forward or the other has to fall back in order to get that tandem running again, which is going to be a challenge no matter which way you want to try to play it. These two have to figure out how they want to do this and how they want to approach it moving forward.
So we get ready to go back to green flag racing. Lap number 49 is being worked on the board. Your top 10 look like this. Brandon Cattell and Peter Bennett, they've been working together this evening. They are your top 2. With Ray Alfala in 3rd. Derek Crone and Cody Bias have been working together. They run 4th and 5th. Byron Daly, Nick Ottinger, Kevin King, and Jake Sturgis were working together prior to that caution flag coming out. And then completing your top 10 is Adam Gilliland in the 81. Michael J. Johnson, Tom Lewandowski, Josh Lawton in 13th. John Gorlinski, Matt Whitten, top 15. Chris Main, Brandon Bowie, Dylan Duval, Rob Ackley, and Chad Lawton, your top 20. Brandon Bowie, Dylan Duval, 2 drivers back there. We'll see if they team up here in this run. They are drivers that will be competing in the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series in the off-season of this NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Talk to Adam Gilliland about that top 20 bubble. Getting the top 20 in this series this season in points, you're locked in to the 2014 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. 30th on back have to fend for themselves in the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series coming up into the off-season. I believe it starts in November, and those drivers will be clawing their way to try to get back into the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Pace car is in. Brandon Cattell and Peter Bennett going to get ready to get on the hammer to complete lap number 49. Green flag flies, and we'll see how quickly this tandem in front gets to getting nose to tail. Here comes Ray Alfala in the 2, and Derek Crone tucks in behind him with the 27 of Cody Bias, and Ray Alfala might be hung out here for the time being as he's all by himself and trying to put the Twister Geeks forward to the lead.
And it looks like he's going to have no problem doing that. Has the advantage on the inside, 0727 giving him a hand, but it's only a matter of time, I think, that without that duo, the 0727 dump him for greener pastures and bluer skies. Meanwhile, the 93, here he comes. That's Byron Daly. He needs to hook back up with Ray Alfala. They were working so well together, and I guarantee you, if they can get back together again, they're going to continue to work on again.
These guys are getting busy about mid-pack as they try to find their drafting partners after the pit stops. Meanwhile, up in front, Brandon Cattell continues to lead, but here comes the 2 to the inside as it looks like Patrick Baldwin may have blown his motor in the number 52 car. He's falling back.
That he has. He did lose his engine. He made contact with the 24. 24 able to rescue it, and he's going to be able to get back. Lana Harrison also involved in that incident. No yellow flag on the field. They're going to let him race as there was nothing to report through that one, except for the fact that Patrick Baldwin, it's bad luck once again. Blows the engine, loses steering, and that's all she wrote.
Tough break for that team, and I know they've been looking for some good luck here in this second half of the first part of this season. The 41 and 29 cars trying to push to the front of the field. New colors for the Alpine Stars, 29 and Kevin King, as they go underneath the 93 and 2 cars. As the first time we really called their names in the top 10 all night, Jake Sturgis and Kevin King trying to make something happen as Derek Crone goes to the top of the board.
Derek Crone now leading this group, but don't get too comfortable out there. She got a lot of guys out there who are hungry for that position. Jake Sturgis working with Kevin King now. Nick Ottinger back with Michael J. Johnson. And then there's John Gorlinski working with the 38 machine of Chris Main. Those two are starting to work together, see if they can get a tandem going. Meanwhile, the fearsome duo of Witten and Killiland, they're back hooked up together, and I guarantee you they are not going to sit there for very much longer.
They're going to be trying to push to the front of the field as Ray Alfala goes back to the top of the board with the 93 of Byron Daly now running in position number 2. It's Cody Bias and Derek Crone, and then about 10 cars going at it for position number 5, currently led by Brandon Cattell on the inside line. But here comes the 41 of Sturgis on the outside. Bias sweeps to the outside for the lead position. Alfala goes to the outside, and here comes the 27 of Bias, and he is going to go to the lead here as the leaders, or former leaders, make the switch.
Ray Alfala running the 27 and the 07 all the way up the hill, trying to throw the block. Does not work for the 93 machine, but everybody else says, thanks for throwing the block. You just gave us a chance to catch up. So here comes Sturgis now. He's hooked up with Kevin King, and those two guys are on a tear, and the Ray Alfala experiment may have just come to an end if he can't get back with his drafting partner.
And here comes the 29 of Kevin King and Jake Sturgis in the 41 with a head of steam. They are going to go to the inside as we go 3 wide down the back straightaway. Ray Alfala in the 2 in the middle without any help. He's going to have to go to the back bumper. Bar the 07 as he cut down in front of the 29, and the 27 and 07 are driving some interesting lines here in the last lap and a half or so, Joe.
The 07 cuts off the 29, and I guarantee you Kevin King is not happy about that one. It's only a matter of time before you hear from that 29 machine as they now start looking low. Can't go underneath the yellow line. They're going to try to see what they can do as they approach the tandem switch. 07, 27 do it great in traffic, but here comes Alfala once again holding his own. Kevin King, meanwhile, takes away the lead. He will be your leader. Jake Sturgis battling with Ray Alfala for position. Ray Alfala can't get too comfortable, though, because he's about to get passed by the 54 and 42.
The 42 and 54. Dylan Duval has found a teammate in Brandon Bowie in the Kohler pipe. Number 54 as they go to the outside line, and Dylan Duval will try to be pushing that number 54 to the front of this field as they will come across the line this time and will be coming close to the front of the field. And I stand corrected, Joe. It looks like a core pipe car. We're used to seeing Alex Warren run those similar colors. It's Miracle Ear and Elwood Designs on the number 54, Brandon Bowie. Used to seeing an Alex Warren-esque paint scheme almost look like that as they go to the front of the field, or they try to go to the front of the field on the outside of Crone and Bias.
Meanwhile, I'm fascinated by what Ray Alfala is doing out there. No draft partner, no help from either one of the tandems, and yet he's still making a great run. He's about to challenge Jake Sturgis for the lead all by himself. So now I have to ask the question, for Ray Alfala, was that big block so much of a move to try to get some distance, or try to help out his partner there, Byron Daly? Or was this a move to try to get him up front and challenging solely for the lead?
You know, Joe, when you're going down the road and you have your gas light on in your car, and then, I think I can make it a little further, then all of a sudden the thing runs out on you. I think that's what's happening here with Ray Alfala's drafting situation, because this one car trying to team up with two other cars, it works for so long, and then the bottom falls out of it, and you see the one car fall to the rear of the field. As speaking of the one car, Marcus Lindsay has found his way to the front of the field with the 96 of Rich Doucette. The Leprechaun is coming to the front of the field here as they have Ray Alfala, the Lone Ranger, as they will split him 3 wide with Ottinger and Michael J. Johnson to the inside.
So the Lone Ranger needing some help from Tonto. Not going to happen as Ray Alfala is going to get in that chili dog position. 3 wide now through the turn. The 96, the 1, the 42, 54, all fighting with him. 21 in trouble.
John Gorlinski in the 21 goes around, and the caution flag will fly here, and Gorlinski was headed towards the infield, was pointing that thing towards the inside wall, and Nim Cross, I know you saw it. It scared me from up in the tower, the 21 car. I don't know how he saved it, but he goes around, he spins out, caution comes out, and doesn't hit a thing.
Yeah, he's doing over 200 mile an hour across the start-finish line, and again, he just rubbed the bumper of the car in front of him wrong, and that sent him sideways down the paved area that is between the tri-oval and turn 1, and he was able to spin it around. Just got back up on the track just at the bottom of the apron in turn number 1, but he's able to gather back up and be on his way. And really didn't hit anything, but it was a long, scary ride there for John Gorlinski.
And that little bit of a piece to come up onto the racetrack does trigger the caution flag, as we will slow him down again. And Joe, we are at lap number 59 of 94. This should, if we stay green, theoretically, if everybody comes down pit road, be the final pit stop of the evening.
This very well could be the last pit stop of the evening if these guys do it right and are able to time it correctly. Something that fascinates me right here, Tim, as you look at all 3 cautions, only one was a result of it. It was a direct result of an accident that took out cars. We haven't seen the big one yet. That is not only a testament to the quality of these drivers and their abilities here on the field, but that all being said, it's still a big time bomb waiting to go off, and it wouldn't surprise me if it goes off to end this race.
And we've said it earlier, we've seen the big one traditionally happen a little bit later on in the race, and in some situations, in some races, it's happened in the last 2 or 3 laps of the event when guys know that if the caution flag comes out, the race is over, and that sense of urgency really kicks in. Cody Bias is scored as your leader in the 27, and he leads your field down on the pit road. Will be interesting here to see where everybody comes out. Nim, Cody Bias is in his pit box.
He is in his pit box. Everybody coming down pit road. Everybody will take fill her up with fuel. That'll get them all the way to the end. I don't see anybody taking tires. No jacks under these cars yet. Everybody just taking fuel, trying to get on their way, trying to get out before anybody else. Right now, everybody's worried about track position, and that's what they're all shooting for with just the fuel.
So they will race their way off pit road, and Cody Bias and Derek Crone will be together, but they will be together behind some other cars, including some drivers that stayed out. Chris Main is your leader, along with Danny Hansen, Carson Downs, and John Gorlinski stays out on the racetrack. I'm not sure how flat-spotted his tires may or may not be, but it appears that those 2 drivers are going to stay out, try to hook up, as will the J-Show teammates in Carson Downs and Danny Hansen. We're going to step away for just a few moments' time. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 in the the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR iRacing.com. Welcome back to Talladega and round number 10 of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Your leader is Chris Mayne in the number 38 with Danny Hansen, Carson Downs, John Gorlinski, and Ray Alfala completing your top 5. Talked about your drivers running for points. Ray Alfala, second in the standings when you look at that one drop. He's running in position number 5 right now as Casey Malone will get the free pass here. Nick Ottinger in the 05 car. Still a long ways to go in this race. Just over 30 laps, but Nick Ottinger in the 05 running right now in a position number 12. You look at Brian Schoenberg in the number 55. Schoenberg was a lap down at one point. He's up to 22nd on the lead lap. Marcus Lindsay in the number 1 car. He runs in position number 9. And the other championship contender is Tyler Hudson in the 01. And it seems like, Joe, he's had the worst luck of the championship contender so far, falling a lap down early under green without pit stops. Cycling into that, and Tyler Hudson will be in position number 31 right now on the lead lap. So still in contention. Anybody can win here at Talladega. We might see a Tyler Hudson or a Brian Schoenberg possibly get their first career win here tonight.
Definitely a possibility, but unlikely to be a plausibility. At this juncture, you need to have a partner that's willing to get you up through the field. I don't know if Tyler Hudson has that. Frankly, I don't know if Ray Alfala has that either. His partner, the 93 of Byron Daly, the Bandit Woodchippers machine, he was all the way up working with Ray Alfala. Now he's going to be down in restart in 21st. So Alfala, once again, going to play Lone Ranger out there. He's got to find a partner in a hurry. He's going to make something work for him. Otherwise, it's going to be a very, very tough road to hoe up there.
Lights are out. We'll get double file. Chris Mayne and John Gorlinski, or Chris Mayne and Danny Hansen will line up side by side. Carson Downs and John Gorlinski in the next row. And those 4 drivers are tandem buddies here this evening, so we should see Gorlinski quickly get with Chris Mayne and Danny Hansen get with Carson Downs, and then Ray Alfala and Derek Crone in row number 3. Crone has Bias in the next row, and Kevin King in the number 29 has Jake Sturgis behind him, and a teammate on the inside line in the next row with Marcus Lindsay. So there's some drivers here that can work together. I don't see anybody right now that could very well aid the 2 car of Ray Alfala, but we'll see where he shakes out, see where the 2-time defending champion shakes out when we go back to green in about a half lap.
Tandems everywhere. And this race now will be decided by the partner you have, by the company you keep out here on this field. And you see the partnerships kind of running side by side with each other for the most part. I think the biggest deficit right now, besides Alfala and company, is the number 27 and the 07, Cody Bias, and the 07 of Derek Crone, respectively. These guys have to figure out how to get back together and try to make something work out there. So with all these different tandems, it's going to make for a very, very fascinating race.
It's going to make for an exciting finish to this one. We are coming down to 32 laps to go in this event. We'll see who comes out on top at the end of 94 laps here at Talladega. Do we see another first-time winner in this series on a super speedway, or do we see somebody else go back to victory lane for, case Nick Ottinger could be 5th time on this 2013 season? Ottinger will roll off from position number 12. Pace car will head into the infield, and Chris Mayne is in control in car number 38, waiting for him to put the hammer down, and Chris Mayne is gone, and the outside leader does a little bit of a warp there, and the 20 car, Danny Hansen, is going to fall back, and that connection issue nearly caused havoc for the rest of the field.
Good news is they were able to catch it and correct it, and Hansen will only lose a little bit of position. That's being optimistic there as the rest of the field. Great restart, clean all the way around, and they are back to racing. 3 wide now up front for the lead. 21, 38, 97, all battling for position. Here comes the 97 getting the push from the 2. The 07 and 27 back hooked up with each other, and these guys are not going to be a tandem. They're going to go away anytime soon.
Yeah, it looks like the number 38 of Chris Main might be a little bit better at pushing than the 21 of John Gorlinski is as they make that swap quickly off the start. And with Danny Hansen falling back, it looks like Carson Downs' only dancing partner right now is the 2 of Alfala as they switch up front. And Carson may be going out back to catch up to his teammate maybe. Alfala will lead the lap, and Alfala will be shoved back in the middle. 3 wide going into corner number 1, and that will work as John Gorlinski has help from Chris Main and the number 38 to the outside as we go 3 wide down the back straightaway. Alfala in the middle with no help whatsoever. 07 of Derek Crone on the inside. He's going to try to take the lead.
He's getting side draft on both sides, and he doesn't care. He's going to take it as long as he can get it. Alfala makes it work in a chili dog position, holds his ground, and now he's got the 21 and 38 behind him. But are they going to give him enough help? Can they be enough help? 21 and 38 immediately dump the 2. They're not going to push with him. They're going to break him. Look for it the hard way. Good news for the guys up front. The more infighting they do back here, the more the 07 and 27 can get away.
Down into corner number 1 as these drivers continue to go at it. Derek Crone and Cody Bias are out by about 3 lengths, and now it's Kevin King and Jake Sturgis on the inside line. Going to come to 3rd and 4th, and Alfala still trying to fight for himself. Carson Downs has picked up Danny Hansen in the number 20, and Ray Alfala has absolutely nobody to work with right now. Gorlinski on the outside line trying to get a little push from the 38 of Chris Main, and it looks like Carson Downs has been disconnected from his teammate, but he's found Ray Alfala in the number 2 car as Danny Hansen falls down to the inside and picks up a 3-car train with Paul Kashiba and his teammate Brian Schoenberg.
At this point, it doesn't matter who you work with. Just grab a partner. If you need to, grab a wooden chair, but just start dancing no matter what you do out there. Bias continuing to get the push from the 07 to Crone. They are leading, but Kevin King will not let it go. Neither will Jake Sturgis. They're battling side by side, back and forth, and then you have another foursome behind them. Actually make that three twosomes, a 6-pack behind them, 3 wide. 39.05 down low, 69.80 in the middle, 21.38 up high, and the complexion of this race is about to change once again.
So out in front, it continues to be Bias and Derek Crone, and then a scatter. The contact made in the 41 of Jake Sturgis, John Gorlinski, and they make contact, and Sturgis goes sky high. Caution flag will fly. Marcus Lindsay's going to need a new front clip on the number 1 car, and it looks like his championship hopes take a huge hit here at Talladega. Gorlinski also heavily involved.
I think Marcus Lindsay's going to need a lot of new stuff after that one. Bounced his car off the safer barrier on the inside, and frankly, I'm sure he's incredibly grateful that was just a simulated car and not a real car, that he binkied way, way high up there. Lindsay involved. Ray Alfala, bad luck once again on super speedways. He doesn't have a drop to use out here, so wherever Alfala ends up, that's going to be where he ends up for this race. Lyndon Harrison also getting a little bit of love on that one. It looks like, I don't think this was the big one, but I do think it is going to change how this race is run. Meanwhile, Derek Crone in the 07 machine also got a piece of that. It looks like the 05 of Nick Ottinger got a little love on that one as well.
And that was a second wreck that happened here with your leaders. The 07 of Derek Crone goes way up the racetrack, and the 27 car of Cody Bias gets a little bit of him. Michael J. Johnson turns the 07. The 27 of Cody Bias is also involved, and this is a second wreck. When I want to look back here just to be sure, the caution flag was already out when the leaders wrecked off corner number 2. Nim, did you see what happened there?
Well, I didn't catch that one, but taking a look at the replay now, it looks like the 27 car and the 07 were drafting off each other, but the 07 went high and he got loose. and he just went down and he hit the inside 2 cars with Michael J. Johnson and the 05, I believe that's Nick Ottinger. He just got loose and went down and hit those cars and took basically Michael J. Johnson and himself, the 07 car of Derek Crone, out. Heavy damage to those cars. And back in the first incident, that looked like the 69 car of Peter Bennett got a little bit loose on the inside, and he made contact with the 41 of Jake Sturgis, and that's what started that one off.
But then if we go back there a second to that second incident with the 07, the 27, the 39, and the 05, at that point, their spotters had to be telling them yellow flag is out. At that point, the sim should have had a notification to these guys that yellow flag was coming out. Should they have been running so hard at that point when they know the flag is coming out?
Well, they definitely knew that the caution was out. Yeah, they definitely knew, and what probably happened there is that, these cars are made to go fast, and when you let off, it can upset the car, and maybe that the 07 car, they're coming off of the corner, the caution flag comes out, he moves up the track, and then he lets off, and that's what got him squirrely and out of shape, and it's just, a light movement of a pedal that upsets the car a little bit and got the 07 out of shape.
I could be wrong here, Nim, but I'm looking at some of these replays here off camera as we see another replay of this wreck. The caution lights come on when just when Derek Crone's coming up the racetrack. Yes, they were wrecking back there. Derek Crone probably had a real spotter that said the caution was out, but maybe he didn't have a real spotter in that car with him. If that's the case, then Derek Crone wouldn't have known the caution flag was out until after he cut up in front of the number 27 car of Cody Bias, his teammate, and then the action ensued. So if that's the case, if he didn't have a real spotter in the server, and he just had to rely on that computer spotter, he might not have known that the caution flag was coming out. He might have seen some smoke behind him and may have thought, okay, well, this is going to clear up. Just trying to play devil's advocate as to what might have come out there, as opposed to saying, oh, the caution flag was out, or they knew they were wrecking, or something along those lines. But nevertheless, it's going to take 3 strong cars out of this race, Joe, and Cody Bias and the other cars that were up there. Michael J. Johnson's been running strong all night as well, and then you have Derek Crone in the 07. 3 strong cars that are going to be swept out of this race, and after everything that's gone on between the front straightaway and turn 2, it's Nick Ottinger leading this race in the 05.
Which is great news for Nick Ottinger and terrible news for Nick Ottinger. The great news is he now has his main competition out of this race, so no matter what happens, he's going to walk away in first place on both counts, the with drop count and the without drop count. That being said, he also lost his draft partner in the number 39 of Michael J. Johnson. So Nick Ottinger is the new Lone Ranger. Put a mask on him and a white hat, because he's going to be running all alone out there. And he's got to make a deal with the devil if he's going to try to break up one of these tandems and go for the win. He's got some sharks behind him. Peter Bennett's been running strong. Brandon Cattell's been running strong all night. Then there's the next duo of Kevin King and Chris Main. They have been running as hard as they can. So Nick Ottinger, if he wants to win this race, he, number 1, has to find a partner, and number 2, he can't get too comfortable in that machine.
When you look back here, though, we see Kevin King has lost his drafting partner in Jake Sturgis in that last wreck. Chris Main has lost his drafting partner in that last wreck with John Gorlinski in the number 21 car. So there's 2 drivers that have had a history together. They've raced a lot of laps together between iRacing and former simulation, so you might see them team up. Nick Ottinger lost his teammate as well. I don't think we'd see Nick Ottinger and Kevin King team up. They've had a rivalry before. It's an unlikely pair. It could happen, but it's an unlikely pair. We're more likely to probably see Chris Main and Kevin King work together than the 05 and the 29 car. You got Josh and Chad Lawton back there in 7th and 8th. Danny Hansen will likely try to find Carson Downs again. Josh Lawton, Chad Lawton, and Rich Doucette are teammates, so you'll likely see a combination of those team up. Mike Conti is back there as well from Jay Show. He's teammates with Carson Downs and Danny Hansen, but also Mike Conti has Tom Lewandowski and Brian Schoenberg with that combination, or that sharing of information between the drill aisle and Jay Show. Those two teammates might work together. You've got the 28 of Chad Coleman and the 93 of Byron Daly there. If I'm Nick Ottinger, I'm looking back through the field and I'm seeing a couple of drivers who might be without teammates or might be without draft mates right now, but if I'm in their shoes, I don't know if I want to work with the number 05 of Nick Ottinger at this point, at least compared to some other teammates out there that might be near or around you on the racetrack. It's going to be interesting to see who Nick finds as a drafting partner. We do know that Peter Bennett and Brandon Cattell are working together, and that probably is the best tandem that's lined up together within the top 10 right now. Some other of these drivers will have to switch some lanes around here and try to find their teammate on this restart.
You know, the other half of that, I believe, too, is who is spotting for Nick Ottinger tonight. You know, if you have a very persuasive voice in your booth, I don't know. If you have a very persuasive voice in your booth that could be spotting for him, that could make you a little bit of difference, buy you a little bit of clout out there. If not, then, he might be running by himself, and he's got, like I said, a Shark Tank all hunting for blood behind him. They want to see you. They want to get him out of the way and win this race. And with 13 laps to go, once we hit the green flag, I don't know what's going to necessarily stop him. We will probably see. No, you know what? I'm going to predict it. We will see one more yellow flag tonight. The question is, when does it come out?
And usually that calming voice in Nick Ottinger's ear is Matt Holden, but I could be wrong, but I think Matt Holden does some work at the summer shootout in Charlotte, where Tony Stevens also does some announcing when it doesn't rain at Charlotte. The rest of the racing this evening has been postponed as of about an hour ago, so I'm sure Tony Stevens is headed home to watch some of this racing here on PSR TV iRacing Live and the Motor Racing Network, and it's getting ready to get good. Pace car is in, and the 71 car, or the 71 laps on the board, and Nick Ottinger in the 05 car is getting ready to take the green flag here. Green flag flies, and everybody gets on the hammer here, and it's time to find your dance partner as we are down to just a few laps to go, just over 20 laps remaining in this event. Ottinger to the inside line. Watch for that 80 and 69 to get teamed up.
80 on the low side, 69 on the high side, and 69 looks like he might be getting a little pressure from that number 97 machine. Meanwhile, the 29, the 38, they seem to have hooked up, and they're going to try to make something work out here. Ottinger holding his own, but it might just be a matter of time before he can't hold that own much longer. 80 goes to go high. Nope. They're going to try to cross over. 80 goes low. 69 goes low. And now Ottinger's under fire. Ottinger gets sideways. He's going to go through the field almost. He collects a 97, hits the outside wall. Now Kevin King having some trouble, able to rescue it. Not a good look for Ottinger, though, as he goes through the field.
And that could have been a lot bigger than it was, as Ottinger in the 05 is going to fall back. The 29 and Kevin King's going to fall back as well, as these guys try to catch their breath, I guess, Joe, is the easiest way to say it, as your top two are Brandon Cattell and Peter Bennett, and then everybody else behind will fall into line as the 28-81 up on the high side, 93 and 55 in the middle, and the 05 and 157 on the inside as they went three wide for that position. That's around 10th place as they continue to find drafting partners and find their footing right now. And look what I'm seeing, Joe. I'm seeing the 18 all by himself up here in about 8th place, and Adam Gilliland pushing his teammate Chad Coleman. Would Gilliland dump his teammate to take the 18 back?
I don't know. You never know. We'll have to see what's happening. Meanwhile, two guys that have no problem getting to this field are the 93 and 55 Schoenberg, pushing Byron Daly right now, and they are cutting through this field like a hot knife through butter. These guys have been working as hard as they can to get through, and it wouldn't surprise me if they start challenging very, very, very quickly.
I wouldn't be surprised here if we saw the 28 team up with the 93, because those two drivers are teammates. Brian Schoenberg in the middle, and those three drivers are friends, but I don't know how friendly they're going to be on the racetrack when push comes to shove at the end of this one. You see the 18 and the 81 teamed up together, and Chad Coleman and the Mohica Lawn Care Ford Fusion. Take a look at that race car. Beautiful painted car by JDR Graphics this week for Mohican Lawn Care, and he's going to fall back without a drafting partner as the battle for the lead intensifies. Rich Doucette in the number 96 will lead lap number 74 with Chad Lawton in tow.
Meanwhile, Brian Schoenberg may have had some connection issues or an engine issue back there. He dropped back through the field, forcing the 93 back with him. They went from 8th to 10th in a matter of less than half the lap. Schoenberg now seems to be back on course, but they need to do something just to regroup their cars and get back out there. Now the 26 and 50 and 96 challenging out front. 26 of Chad Lawton dumps into the Richard Doucette out there as they go back in tandem. These guys are doing everything they can to not only block, but to try to get up front. It's going to be some crazy racing.
Yeah, this one is far from over as Peter Bennett goes back to the lead with the 80 of Brandon Cattell as they make the switch up in front. And here comes Chad Lawton in the number 26 and the 96 of Rich Doucette. Chad Lawton has had a dismal season so far. The Pro Series champion will look to get back up to the front of this field and get back to that Pro Series championship glory days that he had about 7 months ago, as it looks like Josh Lawton is going to get some help from the 38 of Chris Main, and we are going to have a 6-car battle for the lead position as Cattell leads it. But look at the run by the TC's Custom Diecast, number 40, to the outside as he gets pushed by Chris Main.
He's getting the push from Chris Main in a hurry. They know time is running out. They don't have a whole lot of time left to go. They got to make something work, and they got to make it work in a hurry. Lap 77 currently being scored. 94, the total we're running tonight after 90 minutes. Everybody's getting just a little antsy, and they want to start making moves. 40 and 38 hooked up. Behind them, it's the 26 of Chad Lawton and the Leprechaun, Richard Doucette, also getting hooked up. 18 and 81 now making a run, and guess what? My guys, Byron Daly and Brian Schoenberg. 34 in trouble. Yellow flag will come out.
Oh, Chris Main gets impacted by the 5 of Mike Conti, and they all wreck near the front of him as well as Rich Doucette's involved, Brandon Bowie involved as well. 54 may have got contacted by somebody else. 53, or the 93, checked out a Byron Daly involved, and he takes the 54 along with him. Caution flag will fly, and the 38 car, Chris Main, it looks like he had a little bit of contact as he is the one to bring out the caution, and it started, Nim, I believe, with what we've seen before with the other 2 wrecks. He gets a little bit of a hook there from the 40.
Yeah, he got on the inside of Lofton going into 3 a little bit. I'm not sure if they were going to swap positions there to get the 38 out in front, but the 38 car got into the left rear of the 40 just a little bit as they were making a pass, and that guy, Chris Main, out of shape, he went down and impacted the 2 cars below him, and that sent him head on into the wall through corner number 3 and 4, and that a couple of drivers, the 5 of Mike Conti comes along and plows into the 38 car. A lot of heavy damage for both of those cars.
Something that I went back and took a look at. This is really crazy. If we can get that in-car from Adam Gilliland's view right before everything happened, right at that point of impact, there was nowhere for him to go. This could have ended tragically for him, but watch what happens here. Take a look. He narrowly misses it. I don't know about you, Tim, but I don't think that's something I really want to see. A car just randomly flying past me, wrong side in front of me at 200 plus miles per hour.
Yeah, there were a few close calls in that wreck, and as we said before, now we have some drivers up in front that do not have drafting partners or do not have familiar drafting partners. And as I say that, I look down the list. I see Peter Bennett and Brandon Cattell going to start on the same row together. Chad Lawton and Josh Lawton, their teammates, they're going to start in the same row. Matt Whitten and Adam Gilliland, they're going to start in the same row. They've been working well together this evening. And then it starts to get a little bit cloudy from there. Carson Downs and Chad Coleman, Byron Daly, Dylan Duvall complete your top 10. I can see Coleman and Daly working together. They're teammates. Dylan Duvall and Nick Ottinger are former teammates, running 10th and 11th place. We got some drivers back outside the top 6 that are going to have to make some crafty and innovative tandems if they want to get to the front and win this thing.
Well, now at this point, if your preferred partner is out of the loop, you can't, wait for him. You can't hold back for him. You got to go. You're not going to have another chance at winning this race tonight, this year. This is the only stop we're making at Talladega Superspeedway. If you want to win this race, You got to move, and you got to move in a hurry. If you do not do that, if you wait for a partner, if you wait for something to happen, you're going to be left behind in a hurry, and what was a top 5 finish will turn into a top 15 finish. No, teammates, allegiances, friendships, it all goes out the window right now. You take the highest bidder, and you ride it like you stole it.
Nam, I know you've been crunching your calculator all night long, so I'm going to bring you in on this. Real Fala in the number 2 has been down on pit road for a majority of these cautions. He just pulled off his pit box there. He has a lot of damage. He's still in the lead lap in position number 25, but with the damage that he has from one of those big wrecks earlier, he'll be looking for some drivers to wreck in these next couple of laps to possibly wreck hard enough, get enough damage, and gain some positions in that 2 car. We have Tyler Hudson, who struggled all night long. He's back on the lead lap right now in position number 15. Marcus Lindsay is out of the race. Brian Schoenberg in the 55 got damage from that last wreck, and he's also been on pit road for a majority of this caution flag to try to get it fixed. Out of the 5 championship contenders, the best driver so far this evening is the 05 of Nick Ottinger, who sits in position number 11. Could this be the huge turning point in the season that this thing possibly turns towards the 05 of Nick Ottinger?
Well, it's definitely possible. The other guys are having problems, and like you said, they're back there trying to work together, but they're doing it with damaged vehicles. And before this, Ray was having no luck in anybody that would help him, and he was running back in the 30th or 29th spot before this caution came out. Ottinger right now, he still has to get to the end. We're still about 15 laps to go, and anything can still happen as we've seen before. So if Nick can keep it clean, which is not an easy task, he can gain a lot here on this race today.
He stands to gain a lot, and we mentioned without the drop, it's 11 points between your top 2, but when we factor in a drop, and essentially if you're new to this series, it's 18 races throughout the 2013 campaign. You will take your worst finish and take that out of the points picture, and that will be considered your drop. Essentially, your best 17 races count towards the championship. With 10 races in the books, the best 9 races count towards the championship. When you factor in those points, it's Nick Ottinger leading by 2 over Ray Alfala, and leading by 6 over Tyler Hudson, 13 over Lindsay, and 20 over Schoenberg. And we keep saying those are your 5 contenders. You have Michael Conti, who's out of this race already, back in position number 6 when you include that drop, and he's 38 points behind. He's essentially, when you look at it, with half of the season done, with the way those 5 are running in front of him, really hanging by a thread right now, Joe. And then you have Brandon Cattell back there, 60 points back when you factor in that drop. And that's over a race with the drop. You can get 48 points in a race. 60 points is well over a race when you factor in that drop. So you'd have to believe those top 6 are really the drivers to watch. Top 5 really, especially with Michael Conti out of this event and back somewhere. Well, right now he's being scored in 29th place. He'll likely fall to at least 30th with 30 cars still running on there, 29 cars still running on the racetrack right now. You'd have to believe those top 5 are really the ones to watch in the second half of this season. And with Nick Ottinger running in 11th, a lot of other drivers back there throughout the field, you really have to believe this might be Ottinger's biggest opportunity to gain a point lead.
As we watch along with Landon Harrison's webcam here real quick, you got to be thinking that, yes, it's absolutely on his mind. Points are on his mind. Position is on his mind. We are now in the second half of the series, and there is absolutely no room for error. You need to be able to make that run. You need to make it work for your needs and all intents and purposes, and every single race from here on out counts. You have a bad race, you finish outside the top 30, you wreck out, those will count against you in a big way. You can't make up those points once they're gone, and that could make very easily mean the difference between championship and 3rd place. It could also mean the difference between 19th place and having to requalify over again in the Pro Series in the winter.
And that's one series you really don't want to drop down into, because not only are you going to have the bottom 30 from this series, you are going to have the top 20, or the other drivers that came up through the NASCAR iRacing.com Class A series to qualify in for that Pro Series. It's going to be a really tough series in the off-season of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. But when we do finish off that series, we're going to have a bunch of newcomers, or some newcomers and some familiar faces that are going to have a really a new lease on life for that 2014 series. So you saw Byron Daly there, the driver of the Bandit Chippers, number 93, as he will roll from position number 9 and try to get to the front of the field. I know he's got the number 28 car of Chad Coleman just in front of him on the next row, so watch for the 28-93 to team up here. Pace car is in. Peter Bennett, Brandon Cattell going to lead this field to green. We have 13 laps remaining at the Talladega Superspeedway, and boys, business is about to pick up. Green flag flies for the 69 of Peter Bennett.
Possibly the most dramatic 13 laps of the season so far about to take place as Peter Bennett wastes no time getting up front. Cattell in second. Now it's Josh Lawton and Chad Lawton are pinned up with each other. Meanwhile, it's a cluster bomb behind them. Matt Whitten pushing his buddy Adam Gilliland. The 97 machine of Carson Downs going back to Chad Coleman. Dylan Duvall, Byron Daly hooked up. And then behind them, 3 wide, as everybody tries to figure out who they're going to dance with and how they're going to try to make it go forward for them.
A lot of these drivers trying to find that dancing partner they may have worked with earlier in the race. Look back here at about 10th place, though. The 01 of Tyler Hudson has teamed up with a 92 car of Casey Malone. Those two drivers were laps down earlier. They had to get the free pass to get back on the lead lap, and now they are working together and trying to push each other to the front of this field and possibly try to gain Tyler Hudson a couple of valuable points that could play towards championship this season. Meanwhile, back up front, it's Adam Gilliland in the 81 with the head of steam on the outside with a push from Matt Whitten in the number 18. They're going to try to go to the outside here and try to take the lead as they go down the back on lap 83.
Nick Ottinger may have some serious damage on his Ream Chevy as he continues to drop like a rock through this field. Kevin King, Brian Schoenberg now hooked up, and they're trying to make a last-minute push. Meanwhile, up front, it's all about the 81 and 18 as they battle at 69 and 84 position. The Lawtons behind them trying to get their name in the mix. And look who's also up here. Andrew Fayash III for looking at potentially his best finish on the season so far as he's going to break in to the top 10 this time around. He will be officially scored 8th, getting the push from Tommy Lewandowski.
Oh, the outside goes the 81 of Adam Gilliland as they switch, and another swap up in front, and everybody gets discombobulated, and it leads to the 40 of Josh Lawton going to the front, and Adam Gilliland still trying to get that pass made, or that switch made, with his drafting mate, the 18 of Matt Whitten, as they go into their tandems once again on lap number 84, this time by 10 laps to go, and the 18 and 81, they have some time to make up now as that switch was not made very optimally.
Byron Daly's also not making a clean switch with Dylan Duvall. Those guys are going to lose a lot of value position out there. They need to get the tandem going back once again. Meanwhile, we might have another lead change as they go 3 wide up front. Lawton, Cattell, all trying to make a move out there. The Lawtons complete their swap, and now they got the 18, the 81, and the 157 all trying to make a big move.
Andrew Fayash III trying to secure his best career finish in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Carson Downs and Chad Coleman also in the mix, along with Tom Lewandowski in the number 16 car as they come up at a corner number 4, this time by 9 laps remaining. Head of steam from Brandon Cattell and Peter Bennett, and to the inside is Chad Lawton and Josh Lawton, but don't look now, here comes Matt Whitten and Adam Gilliland. They found their footing again, and here they come.
Here they go, digging the 69-80, about to make their position change once again. Cattell will drop in behind Peter Bennett, opening the door for the Lawtons and opening the door for Matt Whitten and Adam Gilliland. These guys waste no time taking advantage of that swap, and now they're already back in third and fourth, but I think they'd be satisfied for that much longer. Now the 26 goes up to block the 18 and the 81. 18 gets loose. 18 goes around, collects the 28. 37, major damage, major carnage out of the turn. The big one has happened.
I know those were our in-race reporters, and I'm not sure how friendly they are right now between the 18 and 81, because the 81, after that switch, appears to have turned the 18 into the rest of the field, and the 81 is going to get off scot-free as Carson Downs, Chad Coleman, Brian Schoenberg gets heavy damage from this one as well. At least 4 cars probably out of this race, if not out of this race, heavily damaged due to that one. And it looks like Adam Gilliland has lost his drafting partner, and I'm sure he's, out of everybody that feels bad about that wreck, he probably feels the worst. And actually, he didn't get out of this scot-free, because it looks like that car is dog tracking a little bit. He's got a lot of damage to that number 81 car, too.
You know, I'm trying to pinpoint really where that happened. If it was a 26 that blocked a little too aggressively there, or how exactly that all started. And it really looks like it started around the 26, who, saw the 18 and 81 coming at him. He ran him up the hill, and the 18 just was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and that's going to really hurt his odds out there. The 81 and 80 both getting a piece of that as well, but there are going to be some significant winners as a result of this incident. Guys who have not only a chance of having their best finish ever, but having a very realistic shot at winning this race. And I'm looking at Andrew Fayash III, who, if I'm right, will be scored in 5th, and with his dancing partner, Thomas Lewandowski, right near him, that could make for a very, very entertaining and solid finish for Andrew Fayash.
I don't know if Ian can get a camera on the 81's onboard when he's going down the back straightaway, but I know these drivers communicate, and obviously Matt Whitten and Adam Gilliland are in TeamSpeak. They do have a spotter in Ryan Hepner, but when you're going down the back straightaway, if you're Adam Gilliland, all you see is the 26 car come up the racetrack and disappear a little bit, and you see the 26 and 18 make a little bit of contact, but with these drivers going as fast as they are, I don't really think he had a whole lot of time to react to the 18 maybe checking up a little bit and being able to compensate for that, I should say. It's a tough break for Adam Gilliland, but there's not a whole lot that he could have done to really prevent that, with the 26 moving up the racetrack and maybe not knowing that his teammate was going to check up at least that much as they went into corner number 3.
It's kind of strange. I mean, the way I look at it, I'm looking at the same camera you are there, Tim, and it's a very difficult position to be in. You have to make a decision. I think the decision I would have made was hit the clutch when I saw the 26 try to throw the block and just let him think he had us and keep going. But you know what? You have no time to react. You have to make the first decision that you feel confident about. They made a decision, and that's how everything ensued. I think this is a valuable learning opportunity for everybody involved.
We've sent Ian Bushing up to see if Matt Whitten or Adam Gilliland want to speak about that incident that just happened on the racetrack and what they saw from their vantage point, but I'm sure both of them are a little bit upset. We'll first talk to Adam Gilliland, driver of the number 81. Adam, I know you were sitting on pit road. What'd you see?
Well, I was just following the 18 through there, and it looked like he tried going third groove to avoid Chad, and because they were making a swap, and it looked like he just got loose. I think it's just a product of this racing. I don't really put blame on Chad or Matt. It's just a tough break. Had a good run going, and now it's going to be ruined, but we'll rebound.
I know it's tough for you, especially after running so strong in this race. Now, I know you got a couple of teammates in the race, and I know a couple of them were swept up in the wreck. I know it's a really tough day all around for this team.
Yeah, I absolutely hate that. I don't think I was the cause of that wreck, but I hate that Chad and whoever else was involved in it. That really sucks, and never want to wish that upon them. So I'll talk to them after the race, and hopefully rebound strong and come back at Indy.
I know you're looking at Indianapolis in 2 weeks' time with this current build. What do we expect at that racetrack?
I think you're going to see a different, not necessarily a different style of racing. You're definitely going to see the speeds increase with this new Gen 6. Although you were skewing the cars in the old car, but You're going to see definitely faster speeds. I think we're hitting like 214 down into 1 or something like that, 209, I can't remember. But you're definitely going to see fast speeds. It's going to be about who can harness the speed, and always the guys that have been running up front this season, Ray, Nick, Ike, they're all going to be fast. So those are the guys you're going to be watching. Hopefully I can contend with them.
Let us hear him again. Who makes it happen for you?
Brendan Mercer with Gary Mercer Trucking Inc., Tim's Corner Motorsports, and JDR Graphics.
And that's Adam Gilliland, driver of the number 81 car. I know Ian Bushing is trying to grab Matt Whitten for us. And Matt, I know you're probably a little more worked up about this over what seemed to be a subdued Adam Gilliland. What happened?
Yeah, it looked like just a quick swap in front of us. We were going to go to the third groove, but I didn't really see it till the last minute. It was kind of a wide swap in front of us and made some contact. I feel bad for Adam. I'm not doing this full time. He is.
And you mentioned not a full-time ride this season, but nevertheless, you guys put on a show, and they all knew you were here this evening.
Yeah, Adam, I think a few days ago, he texted me up, wanted a partner, and we got to come help him. And as long as we showed, I had fun. We showed we were pretty strong again, like Daytona.
I know it's only a part-time season. When do we see you next coming up here in this season?
Probably not anymore this season, but I'll run in the Pro Series maybe when I come back.
When you look at that Pro Series, how tough is that going to be to try to get your way back into this series for 2014?
It hadn't been too bad the last couple Pro Series I was in, but I've been out so long, I don't know the competition now and who's got it, but I'll do my research and see what's going on.
I know you had a couple of partners on your car this season and a couple of teammates. Who makes it happen for you?
I want to thank Adam for the few of the teams that I've been on. He's been there, most of them, and Gary Mercer Trucking has been on my car a few times. Thanks him.
And that's Matt Whitten and Adam Gilliland. And Joe, it's tough because that was one of the strongest tandems here this evening, and they find themselves in the garage area just 4 laps shy of the finish, and that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to 4 laps at the end of this race. And 4 laps or less, we should say, as the caution flag could fly before then. It's Josh Lawton and Chad Lawton leading us to green.
It's going to be a very entertaining last 4 laps because you have a lot of guys who are looking for their best finish of their career. You're looking for some first-time winners here. It's going to really be a very entertaining class. Whoever ends up winning this race has earned it because they stayed clean, they were able to make it work out there, and able to get it going. Pace car will pull off this time around, and now they're in the field is in the hands of Josh Lawton to see what he will do with it. He's going to wait to see the green silk. There it goes. Josh Lawton gets the jump. Chad Lawton, no hurry to jump in behind him. 69 and 80, however, trying to make something work. And then there's Andrew Fayash III, who's trying to figure out where he's going to go and who he's going to run with for the rest of this race.
Yeah, watch that 157 of Andrew Fayash III. He's trying to become a first-time winner in this series. Josh Lawton in the 40, trying to get to victory lane as well. Chad Lawton trying to get there as well. Big contact out back. Ottinger's on his roof, and this should end the race. And Josh Lawton in the 40, if he can get back under caution in these last few laps, will be your winner. And I said Nick Ottinger is on his lid. He wasn't the only one that's involved. Ray Alfala in the 2, heavy damage. Byron Daly, heavy damage. The only driver in the points chase to come out of that with no damage may very well be the 01 car of Tyler Hudson.
Adding insult to injury for what's already been a very difficult night for your points leaders out there. That is going to leave a huge mark out there, and that's not what you want to see at the very end of a race. Once again, I think this very aggressive driving between 3 quality drivers, bring that all together, the 24 and the 93, kind of initiate that, and they collect the guys trying to salvage what's been a very difficult night out there, try to make something work, and in this case, it just doesn't work. That's going to be the end of the show tonight, and I guarantee you it is not where Ottinger, Alfala, and company wanted to finish the night.
And looking at the replay, you mentioned those cars going for the same piece of real estate. It almost looked to me like the 24 just progressively keeps coming down the racetrack and doesn't know that there's two cars there. That's probably the easiest way to call it. And Carson McClellan was top 10 in the points coming in, and Byron Daly was 11th, and that might change a little bit. And Brian Schoenberg was involved in the championship hunt, and that starts just outside the top 10. And all of those drivers are probably going to be looking for some points at the end of this one. Alex Warren is there, Landon Harrison in the 89. We talked about Nick Ottinger going through a wild ride. Ray Alfala as well gets a lot of contact in this one, and it's tough for those drivers, especially those that were going for a position up in front. And at the end of it, it's going to be Josh Lawton coming out with the victory, just as long as he can keep the thing under power for the next 2 laps.
Which shouldn't be a problem. They all came in when they needed to make the fill up and make their final pit stops out there, so it should not be a problem. I don't anticipate that they'll have a problem getting around under their own power for the next 2 laps, getting in and finishing this race. Josh Lawton, Chad Lawton, a race well run for both of those cars, and now they get to celebrate together in victory lane. Peter Bennett third, Brandon Cattell fourth, and then there's Andrew Fayash the third, registering his first top 5 finish at a track, his best career finish at a track. If anybody's really earned it, it's Andrew Fayash III. Earlier this week, he was named the All-Star from the oval side of the All-Star events we're going to see in August. And tonight, he really lived up to that title. He really proved why he is in fact an All-Star in this series.
And looking back here through the stats that we have, this should be Josh Lawton's first NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship victory. Looking back here through the stats and looking through the last couple of years, did not compete in the first season in 2010. In 2011, it looks like Josh Lawton ran all 18 races, did not have a win or a top 5 to speak of. Then we move to last season in this series, and Josh Lawton put his number 40 car close to the front of the field a couple of times, but through 15 races did not have a top 5 finish. This might very well be his best finish in a long while. It's definitely going to be his first win, Joe, as this time by he'll take the white flag and he'll be 1 lap away from taking the victory here this evening in the TC's Custom Diecast number 40 car. Chad Lawton will come home in second, with Peter Bennett in position number 3. Brandon Cattell and Andrew Fayash III are going to complete your top 5. Matt Busa, Tom Lewandowski, Rob Ackley, Tyler Hudson, and Casey Malone are going to be your top 10. This time by white flag for the 40.
So Chad Lawton's Chad Lawton's going to pick up a very impressive victory here tonight. He's really earned it. And what's really surprises me, here is the fact that we started out very strong with a very top class of top-tier drivers up front tonight, and at the end, you have guys that are having the best finish of their careers. The Lawton brothers, which I believe is the first brother combination to finish for second in a NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship race. Peter Bennett's there, Brandon Cattell, Andrew Fayash, Matt Busa, Thomas Lewandowski, Rob Ackley, Tyler Hudson in 9th, Casey Malone rounding out your top 10. These are not drivers you hear about on an everyday basis. It just shows how Talladega really is the great equalizer. If you stay clean and can run strong out there, you can very well end up with an excellent finish, as these top 10 drivers, who have all absolutely earned it, have proven here tonight.
You know, this is going to be big for Peter Bennett as well, but also Brandon Cattell. I want to talk about Cattell first before we get to the checkered flag. Cattell 60 points back with the drop factored in, with Conti having trouble, Brian Schoenberg having trouble at the end of this race. That could move him a little bit closer to the top 5 when it all boils down to it. Marcus Lindsay also had trouble as well, so that's going to hurt the chances of Lindsay and Schoenberg to take a championship this season. Ottinger as well, not going to finish this race, or going to finish outside the top 20 in this event. So those 3 are going to take a hit, as will Ray Alfala, so it might not be too bad for those drivers. And Peter Bennett coming into this race was in the top 10 as well, so that's going to help his chances, especially with Steve Sheehan not being here this evening. So going to help Peter Bennett, going to help Brandon Cattell, who finished 3rd and 4th, but this time by checkers are in the wind, and his first NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship victory comes at Talladega, and the TC's Custom Diecast Wheelman Incorporated Chevrolet SS of Josh Lawton goes to victory lane. Chad Lawton comes home in 2nd, Peter Bennett in 3rd, with Brandon Cattell and Andrew Fayash the 3rd, completing your top 5. We'll talk to all of those drivers in the post-race show in just a few moments, but nevertheless, Josh Lawton's first win. Chad came close in the number 26, but at the end of it, it will be the 40 car celebrating his first victory. A season or a full-time competitor in this series since 2011, and in 2013, he grabs his first victory.
Definitely a well-earned victory. He picks it up, and he picks it up in very, very strong fashion. Chad Lawton having a strong car all night. Excellent run by Lawton. Excellent run by both the Lawton brothers. And it's really good to see this parity in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. It's really good to see these guys able to run so cleanly and so competitively with each other. It really proves it. Any given Tuesday night, from the comfort of your own home, you too can walk away a winner.
So we will see Josh Lawton celebrate here as he picks up the victory, and it looks like Chad going to join him as well here on the front straightaway. Big win for the Lawtons. Kevin King, the teammate to those two as well, also going to light it up here on the front straightaway as we will step away for just a few moments' time and set up for your post-race show. Josh and Chad, 1-2 here this evening. Don't go away. We'll be right back with the post-race show.
Fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 in the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR iRacing. Welcome back to Talladega Super Speedway in round number 10 of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship, and an exciting finish to that one. A couple of points leaders on their roof, and at the end of it, your winner is Josh Lawton. Chad Lawton comes home in second. Peter Bennett, Brandon Cattell, and Andrew Fayash III complete your top 5. And points are going to shake up a little bit here, but we do know that your winner drives the TC's Custom Diecast Wheelman Incorporated number 40, and I know Nim Cross is making his way down there to Victory Lane. Josh Lawton just rolling that race car into Victory Lane.
Down here in Victory Lane with Joshua Lofton. Joshua, first time pulling in Victory Lane. Tell us how it feels.
Feels pretty good, Nim. I know it's a super speedway and it's about luck, but we put ourselves in the right position at the right time, and with the help of our teammates and especially my brother there at the end, pretty stoked to bring her home, man. First DWC win. You can't wipe the smile off my face right now.
Tell us about working with your brother there, and how much you guys practice and the whole team thing to make it work there at the end.
I mean, the team thing's huge. I'll be perfectly honest. I ran one qualifying lap in practice today just before qualifying, and ran the race set. The guys at Wilmington, they do a great job. And super speedways, you really don't have to put that too much effort into it like you do the mile and a halves and short tracks. But worked with Marcus there, had to drop back to the back and help him, and we worked really well. It's good with teammates. Worked with Chad there a little bit, and then him and Rich were hooked up, and they got involved in a wreck, and it just kind of worked out where me and Chad were working together, and we ended up 1-2, man. So hopefully that's the first brother 1-2 in iRacing history.
Yeah, it definitely is. Joshua, you're grinding out every week on the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship Tour, and you don't always run up front. You're very competitive week after week, but to run up front here all day and they're at the end. Tell us how much this means to you.
It means a ton, man. Me and the whole team, we just put in a lot of work, man. This series consumes a lot of your personal time, and I actually sat out Kentucky because of that, because I was tired of it being a priority, and I wasn't sure if I was going to run tonight. Really glad I did, and it just kind of gives you that motivation to continue on and try and win some more of these. We've had fast cars, we've just had some bad luck, so luckily luck was on our side tonight, and we got the job done.
Coming into the race, you were down 30th in points, so you're looking at running the Pro Series. This will definitely move you up to be competitive to get in that top 20 in points, most likely. So Indianapolis in 2 weeks. Tell us about Indianapolis, and tell us about your prospects for trying to get in that top 20.
Indianapolis is, I like that track. I just never seem to run too well in the Cup car. The other cars I seem to do well in. But we're gonna give her hell and see where it falls, and hopefully luck's on our side again, and we can keep knocking off top 10s and top 5s and go from there.
Tell us who makes it happen for you.
I need to thank TC's Custom Diecast for coming on board. It's awesome to get them a win, and just real proud of all the guys at Wilman Inc., Chad, everyone from Kevin King to Richard Doucette, Marcus Lindsay, Jason Karlovich going to be here tonight with us, but he did an awesome job. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anyone, but all them guys at Wilman Inc., they just do an awesome job and put me in fast cars every week.
Well, congratulations, Joshua. It was good to see you in Victory Lane in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. You are a winner in this series now, and they can't take that away from you. So congratulations. We're going to send it over to Joe Cortez, who's caught up with your second-place finisher and brother to the winner, Chad Lofton.
Chad Lawton finishing second tonight, and the first thing I want to ask you is, how did you two decide which brother was going to end up first?
It really wasn't a decision. It was like whoever, since we had to switch like every 3 laps, so it was whoever was in the lead at the time with 2 laps to go or so would be the winner. I didn't really care as long as one of us won, and that's what happened.
So how was this conversation going to go down at the Thanksgiving table this year about tonight's race?
I'll be deployed in Thanksgiving, but I'm sure he's pretty happy, and I'm glad I can help him get a win here at DWC. I know he's been trying to get one for a long time, and it's just good to get him a win, and I don't mind finishing second place at all to my brother, and it's a pretty cool deal.
talk about the strategy you guys employed tonight, because I don't know how intentional it was that both of you ended up in the front of the field with each other tonight. When did you guys make the decision to go ahead and start moving with each other? Was it after the accidents? How did that come together?
Coming into the race, I was gonna my teammates with Richard Doucette. I was gonna team up with him for the majority of the day, and it just seemed like we were all on different chapters during the race, and it just so happened me and Josh during the middle of the race were able to hook up. I took 2 tires and put me back, and he lost a partner and fell back to me, and we kind of pushed ourselves back up there, and everything kind of came together. I mean, these races are a big, a luck of the draw, and we were lucky today. So,
Chad, you mentioned deployment coming up in your near future. How, with this big second place finish, how does your future really change your complexion on the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship and change your plans for moving forward in the series?
I'm just enjoying the races that I can run. I'm pretty sure even if I make the top 20, which I doubt, but I won't be able to make. I'd have to go back through the whole.
So does that mean that eventually next year we'll be seeing you come back and try to requalify for the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship?
Yes, I'd probably have to go back to the Pro Series and all that. So yeah, I definitely. There's no way I'm gonna make a Pro this or finish in the top 20 this season, and then obviously I won't be able to make Pro next season, or it makes the season for Pro. So yeah, I won't be. It'll be I guess in 2015 if I'm still racing.
Chad, right now, unofficially points, you're up in the 22nd position, so that's a good place for you to be.
Yeah, I've had a lot of bad luck this season. Just really a string of races where I haven't been able to finish as good as I should have or as I've ran. But I mean, I have 2 top 5s. It's pretty good, I guess, in 10 races. Not as great as the other competitors, but I mean, when you get a top 5 in DWC, I'll take it any day.
Who makes it work for you? Who you got in the car now?
I got Gary Mercer Trucking and Bernie Mercer. I finally give him a shout out. It's been a while since Texas. JD Laird for his cool paints and everything he does for the community. Everyone on my team: Marcus, Kevin King, Josh Lawton, Richard Doucette, Jason Karlavich, who's on some vacation having fun instead of sim racing, and DHL for Thomas Davis for hooking me up this season for a cool little sponsorship, and Tim Terry for being an awesome Canadian.
Arguably the most awesome Canadian in all of iRacing is that Tim Terry. Chad Lawton completing the first brothers sweep, first and second place finish of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Chad, congratulations to you and the Lawton family on this second place finish, and thank you for your service.
I appreciate it.
The most awesome Canadian in all of iRacing, Tim Terry, catches up with Peter Bennett to finish third.
Peter Bennett worked with Brandon Cattell for most of the night and comes home in position number 3. Peter, I know you would have probably wished there was a couple more green flag laps at the end of that race.
Yeah, I was really hoping to get a little bit of a better restart to get under Chad, and maybe I could have split them up, and we would have had a chance. We didn't really get a long green run to the end, or at least 4 laps to the end. Cattell and I were really scheming during the caution, trying to figure out what to do. And we were trying to get going as fast as we could, and just try to get to the lead before the caution came out.
And I know you guys were working well throughout the race. We had a lot of green flag running at the start of the race, and then, as we mentioned, a lot of caution seemed to really break up this second half.
Yeah, we started. I know I didn't qualify very well. I started way in the back, and he dropped back to pick me up, and we moved through the field pretty quickly at the beginning of the race. And then once the pit stops came after that first caution, we just tried to stay in the lead pack. And from there, we were pretty much in the top 10 for the rest of the race. We just tried to stay ahead of all the potential wrecks that could have happened. We just tried to keep our noses clean. We got lucky quite a few times, and we brought it home pretty well.
I know this has been a really spectacular first half of the season for you, unofficially without the drop factored in. You're 6th place in the standings, moving up a couple of spots with Talladega this evening. How big are you thinking points? Have you set yourselves any goals for the 69 team points-wise at the end of the season?
Honestly, I came into the season just hoping for a top 20 in points. But after this great start, and I've really surprised myself. I didn't think I had it in me, and I think a lot of it has to do with luck. But I guess maybe top 12, finishing in the money. I guess that's probably the goal now. I just try to keep my nose clean. I know I probably got suspended for next race with that incident with Jake in the tri-oval when I hit the bumps and kind of got into him. We'll see what the officials have to say about that. I hope I'm not suspended, but it looks like I might be suspended for next week at Indy.
Well, let's look ahead. If not Indianapolis, we have a couple of tracks coming up that could very well change everything. We have New Hampshire, which could be a driver's track, Atlanta Motor Speedway, Chicagoland. We have the wild card in Michigan coming up. We end the season off at Kansas, Dover, and Homestead. What are your prospects here for these final races heading down to the championship stretch? Where do we see that 69 getting his first win?
I'd say my best shot would be Michigan. That's one of my favorite tracks. My team always comes up with a great setup for Michigan. And with this the way iRacing is now, it has a lot to do with draft. But I've always run well at Michigan and also New Hampshire on the flat track. I run well there, and I'm not as strong as I like to be on the 1.5 mile track. So I really look forward to New Hampshire and Michigan.
I know you got some sponsors on the card, and you mentioned teammates. Who makes it happen for the 69?
Rudy Motorsports. I know I owe a lot of my success to Ryan Rudy for helping me out, getting me here into DWC. I can't thank him enough. Brandon Cattell, and DylanCC.com, and Lee Herron as my spotter.
And that's Peter Bennett coming home in position number 3 this evening. Nim Cross has caught up with Brandon Cattell.
Down here with Brandon Cattell, your 4th place finisher tonight. Brandon, got a little bit hairy at the end, but you brought her home 4th. That's a good finish.
Yeah, that was a pretty fun race. I thought we had a chance on that last restart to go get the win, and I thought the way it was working out, Peter was going to get to the outside of him there. I thought we had it in the bag. Thought we were going to get a good run. I didn't know if there was guys behind us close enough to get us, but I think it was going to be just the Lawtons and us to battle it out there. I thought we had a pretty good shot at winning. But yeah, it was a fun, crazy race.
There were a lot of moments out there for a lot of people. Everybody drafting real close. If I remember right, you were involved with one that was pretty close in the tri-oval. Tell us about that.
I was pushing Peter, and I think Peter hit the bumps, and we had to run our car really, really low to be really fast here. And he hit the bumps pretty hard, and it slid up the track, and I think he hit Jake. I think he barely nicked him, and just Jake couldn't save it.
9th in points coming into this race. Good finish here. May move you up close to the top 5, maybe 7th or so. Tell us about your prospects for the points championship. What are your goals for the end of the season? And also tell us about your prospects for Indy in 2 weeks.
Man, I wanna do good in this series. I wanna win the championship. I think if we get more top 5s like I've been doing, I think this is like my 4th top 5. I really think we can come around and maybe get close. Maybe finish in the top 3 in points. I don't know. I really would like to win it though. I think everybody would like to win it, but it would be huge if I win it. But looking on to Indy, I like Indy. Our Pocono setup was extremely fast, and Pocono is a lot like Indy, and we have a great base to start working on the setup there, and hopefully we can get the job done there. Maybe get a win or something. Another top 5.
Tell us who makes it happen for you.
Rudy Motorsports. It's my new team. Lee Herron, Peter Bennett, Ryan Rudy, Dylan CC, my sponsors, Robert Tail Roofing and Integra Roof Tile, and JD Laird. He has the best paint schemes out there, JDR Graphics. And I would also like to thank all the Last Row Motorsports guys for kind of carrying along us for the season, since we just parted ways and stuff. But it was a mutual agreement, and everything's fine there. But yeah, I'd like to thank all them, and hopefully go on next week and maybe get a win.
Well, congratulations on your 4th place finish, Brandon, and we wish you the best of luck on the rest of the season in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. And we're going to throw it over to Joe Cortez, who's caught up with your 5th place finisher, Andrew Fash III.
Andrew Fash III turning in his best career finish of all time. And Andy, I know there's got to be a whole lot of motion going for you and your family tonight.
Yeah, it's a bit unexpected based on how we went into tonight. I didn't. I think I work grave shift, so I sleep during the day. I think I woke up at like 7:30, and I didn't start practicing. I didn't turn a lap till like 7:45 or something. And I got to thank my team first and foremost, Galaxy Motorsports and Michael Conti today. I went in with no draft partners, no expectations, and Conti asked me last minute if I want to work with him, and I'm like, well, I start way in the back, you're starting way up front, but we get to each other, then sure. So he dropped back, and it was a blast. I can't be any more happy with 5th than this.
You definitely got to be very happy with what's been a very, very strong race so far. When did it all come together for you? When did you realize that you have a very real chance of finishing top 5 for the first time in your career?
Oddly enough, it's about the same time that Conti had wrecked. Because I was working with a few different random people, and then when Conti got taken out, I ended up partnering up. Because he started working with Lewandowski for a bit, because Lewandowski lost his partner, and they're, I guess they're teammates or friends or whatever. And, he told me to try to find someone else if I can, and he gave me the option, and I said, dude, don't worry about it. Worry about your teammates first and your friends first. I was a last minute decision anyway. So he worked with him, and then he got caught up in a wreck. And then I said to Lewandowski, I'm like, well, do you want to work together? Because now it's just me and you left up here. So when that came together, I thought for sure, we were in good track position, and it was just a matter of getting things to line up right. And especially the last restart, granted the caution came out, but Busa and Ackley used to be teammates with me, and we all had it worked out where Busa was going to push me and Ackley was going to push Lewandowski. We were going to split each other up. That way, on the restart, we were already lined up, and we didn't have to do anything fancy there. But unfortunately, the caution came out through turn 1.
So Andy's really has been your kind of a big rig for you in iRacing. Not only do you get named the All-Star from the fan vote All-Star from the oval side, but a big top 5 finish as well. Got to be a real good. It's got to be very fulfilling after everything that's gone on this year.
Yeah, definitely. I got to thank everybody who voted. I was completely not expecting that. I was surprised when Gorlinski gave up his spot for the All-Star race that Alfala hosted, and that was completely unexpected. And now for all the people that voted and stuff for the other All-Star race, I wasn't even looking at the poll, and then somebody told me they're like, dude, you've got like 20 votes over everybody else. And I didn't even look at it prior to that, so. I can't thank everybody enough. I just hope it's, I don't know if the track combination's been announced yet, but I hope it's something good for me so I could at least, give the fans something worthwhile rather than just, being at one of my worst tracks and just cruising around.
Andy, we know you got the tribute car out tonight. Anyone else you want to thank? Anyone else you want to give a shout out to?
Well, obviously Michael Conti for helping tonight. Obviously my whole team at Galaxy Motorsport, Dustin Langard, Austin Atkinson, Travis Pinney, G. Allen Lewis. A bunch of people that I'm forgetting right now. Too many to name. But everybody over there, they helped me out so much every single race with this series, and I've been pressed with time, and I haven't been able to help nearly as much as I'd like to with everything else, and they've still been supportive and helpful with me. So I can't thank those guys enough. I'd also like to give a shout out. I actually just got a sponsorship offer this morning prior to this race, and I turned him down because I want to run the tribute car for the rest of the season. But I got to give a shout out to Corbin Himstreet. He came to me looking to sponsor, so I sent him Boosa's way, so hopefully that goes through. But because I know Boosa's looking a little bit, and he's a good dude. So yeah, I just want to thank those guys for everything.
Andrew Fayash III finishing 5th tonight. Andrew, good run tonight, and we look forward to seeing you in the All-Star race.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to New Hampshire here in this series. See if I get another top 10 there. It's been one of my better tracks, so hopefully we keep that going.
Hoping for the best. Andrew Fayash III finishing 5th tonight. Tim Terry, let's take her home.
Great night of racing here. Congratulations to Josh Lawton on his first NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship victory. It's going to tighten up the points a little bit as we head to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for round at number 11 coming up on July 23rd. And more information on this series at wcs.iracing.com. That's wcs.iracing.com, the official microsite of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship and the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. That's going to do it for us here this evening on PSR TV, iRacing Live, and the Motor Racing Network. So for Joe Cortez, Nim Cross, Zach Stanko, Ilka Hapola, Ian Bushing, Paul Johnson, Chuck Johnson, Matt Racing Kid Thomas, who's not here this evening, Tony Stevens, who's not here this evening. My name is Tim Terry, saying we'll see you in 2 weeks' time when we say let's go racing from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track.